What up, man?
What up, broski? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
So I'm just making sure my headphones work, bro.
you. All good? All good?
How is it, bro? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. Just, you know, like work is coming up into a bit of a weird period. It's gonna be a little crazy. Uh,
Okay. That
I
transition
think.
happening soon?
What was that?
Was that transition happening soon?
Um, it's just our next release has got a lot going on. Um, so just gotta really make sure it's locked in and nothing goes wrong or it's gonna be messy. Um,
Sticky one still.
so I gotta do that. Like I'm in the middle of a release now, and just so many little um so many little things going wrong now. And then this other project that I'm running that's like a joke is also like just straight up not gonna happen by when they want it. So gotta break the news on that this week. So I mean I think it's cool. Like my bosses have like my current boss does a pretty good job of not making it any more stressful than it needs to be. But
Yeah, all right.
yeah, just one of those just one of those things, you know. Tomorrow's Friday though, and it should be a chill day. What you got there, bro? You sipping a little lean?
Easy.
Oh, bro, you got the purple. Good God.
Nah. This is for my. It's for my scalp. This is what my doctor
Mm,
recommended me to use.
what is it? I can't read it.
Called Weleda, rosemary conditioner shine oil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it working?
It's. I mean, it's too early to tell.
Okay.
I just started using it like what's that, 2, 3 weeks ago?
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, bro. Should get on the fucking the plant made vibe, bro. You see how they got me?
This is man. This is not cheap. This show is not cheap.
No, I'm saying specifically the brand of plant made. That's the stuff I've been using, bro. Like, it's my shit is looking flowy.
Feel like that shit only work when you got a little bit of hair on you, bro. That little,
Nah, bro. No, look at their shit, bro.
you just can't
They,
drop it in the Sahara Desert, bro. It needs a little bit of lush. It need a little bit of, you know what I'm
I don't,
saying?
I don't think so, bro. It's just like it's a bar, bro. You get it in your,
Or like
uh,
soap.
yeah. It's like shampoo and conditioner. Yeah, bro. I don't know. Oh man.
You excited for Aaron's debut?
Yeah, it should be a fun one.
How long does he have with us?
Uh, I think about the timing. I gotta run around 6.
Yep.
Just I gotta catch up on some other stuff. And then get some dinner. So it's like an hour, probably hour and a half.
Yeah, 9.5 or something. Because
Yeah.
I got a bounce at like 8, or 2 or
Oh,
6.
so yeah, gotta go get some boonda, huh? A little late night, little sneaky link.
No. We're gonna play playing volleyball actually, bro.
Okay.
Yeah, Notre Dame. You remember the sand dunes or the sand pits that they had in Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Oh yeah,
going
volleyball's fun, bro.
so much fun.
I haven't played in a grip, honestly.
This is my first time. Like, I was too shy to play last time because niggas were there doing their thing, bro.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like JV, not varsity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm trying to play.
Freshman tryouts.
Mm.
I'll put this do rag on real quick. Is Sophie back yet?
Mhm. Yeah, she got back Tuesday night.
Is she gonna go to that party?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Should be fun. Hopefully I make it. That I don't know. It's supposed to be a hot one, and that deck might take me out.
Bro, it's gonna be what, like 94 over there too?
It's gonna be like 90, I think. Yeah, some a little, a little spicy.
Your ass gonna take
Um,
your ass gonna take a shower and then you gonna lay down talking about I'm gonna give
mm,
myself 30 minutes. Tomorrow gonna come.
no, 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 no. I will probably take a little shower and do depending on how late it is, take a little shower, do a little caffeine nap. So you like drink some caffeine like quick and then lay down to take a nap and you wake up and you're like, oh, like the caffeine is hit.
Time to
It's kind of
go.
it's kind of a fun low one. Um, yeah, we gonna get into it. So
But yeah, bro, the outline and everything, bro. How you feel about going by the questions? Do you want to go like in order or do you want to bounce around?
nah, I think we definitely want to bounce around. Um, and the red ones, those are the ones you're thinking?
Yeah, to ask, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's fucking speaking, bro. Just trying to pair my why is it not recognizing my fucking headphones?
I don't know, bro. Let's see here. Yeah, we don't. I feel like we don't have a crazy amount of questions. So yeah, even if it's only like an hour,
Yeah.
it's cool. It's no. Yeah.
You just bear with me. I'm just trying to make sure my headphones work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cancel the phone. Okay, I see what it's on.
I'm gonna add a couple more like lighter ones to start with. Get a few more of those in here. Mm, yeah, maybe we just popcorn back and forth between us on these first ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is it let me see. Would you be okay if I like close this out and come back in real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
Stay in the thing?
Oh yeah, that's cool. You can
All right,
like
bro.
the meeting. Yeah, that's cool.
Wait 1 second.
Mm. Yo,
Bro, why is it doing this, bro?
what's going on?
Okay, hold on. I think I got it now. It's switching, popping up in my head. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you the whole time. Bro, I told you gotta stop shopping on Temu, bro.
I'm sorry. Shout out to Sony still.
Max said, "Hey, bro, I can't do it, bro. I got that brand deal."
Hey man, you gotta fake it till you make it, right?
Hey, bro, something like that, I guess, bro. I'm gonna go grab some water, but I can still hear you. Oh,
Nice.
how's the day been for you, bro?
Bro, it's been cool, bro. Just been low key trying to like massage my foot and my side of my back. But other than that, it's been sweet, bro. I kind of put aside doing some of the projects just to kind of chill so I can have a decent afternoon. Cause bro, it's slaving hot outside, bro.
Are you still painting?
Yeah, so well not well how do I explain this? There's like these metal shelves that were there before, and so what we're trying to do, we're trying to buy like this like closet we can take in and out, like a build your own closet.
Okay.
And it just didn't fit because I mean it just didn't fit.
Mhm.
And so my mom was like, okay, we already have like luckily we did not take out the shelves, the areas where the shelves used laid before. We were gonna take them
Mhm.
out, but me and my dad were like, let's just leave them just in case. And so we decided to put them back, and they're just kind of dirty as fuck, and I gotta clean them. I gotta stain them, and then I gotta paint them.
Oh, damn, bro.
But it's cool. Those are not gonna be that bad. It's just a matter of like they're like tedious because I mean, like with painting a wall, like you can let that bitch dry, but like I gotta paint for the bitch over, let this whole dry, and then I gotta paint the other side type shit. And it's five of them. So it's
Oh,
just yeah, but it's cool with that. And then what else I gotta do tomorrow? I gotta do some paperwork for my mom's business. Um the tournament got canceled, which is beautiful. I don't have to worry about that this weekend.
that's kind of
So
nice. That's kind of nice. Yeah.
overall, hey Siri, turn the lights to energize, please. Hey Siri, turn the lights to energize, please. Hijo de puta madre.
Yeah,
Eh,
bro. It's been all right today. Like this is the first day where I haven't worked out in like a week until today. Just did a little something quick.
Yeah, bro. I'm happy you didn't try to kill yourself this whole entire week.
Yeah, I just been kind of chilling. Like I've been watching, Sophie's gone, had to like do, all the Maryland stuff in the morning. So I was like, doing walks and stuff like that. But I definitely feel it though. I was like, okay, like we getting a little antsy. Um, but yeah, it'd be cool. We've wrapped the week up tomorrow. Not looking like it'll be too crazy of a day. I'm getting breakfast with Carl early morning.
Hey, how's he doing?
I think he's doing good. I haven't seen him. It's been a couple weeks since I've seen him. We were at the same wedding.
Oh yeah. Oh, that one you
Uh,
went to that last weekend? Oh, like 2 weeks ago, some shit like that.
hmm
I gotta lotion up, bro. I gotta lotion up. Hey, I saw a couple pictures Sophie posted of her girlfriends. They look cool.
Yeah, they seem chill.
Yeah, it
I
look
don't know
legit.
all of them.
Is that all of who is gonna be in the wedding, or is gonna be more that just couldn't make it?
Uh, no, not all of them are in the wedding.
Oh, okay.
Some of them are from out. Those are like her camp friends.
Ah,
Um, those are her camp friends. So like a couple of them, I think one or two of them are bridesmaids. One or two of them are bridesmaids, and um, a couple of her girls from college are also, I think like three of her. Yeah, I think three of her homies from college out here um will be in it. So
cool.
yeah, no, that was just kind of her like her like camp kind of North Carolina homies there.
Respect. Oh, so they didn't have to travel too much to come see her type shit.
Yeah, she kind of went closer to them. They're all sort of generally on the East Coast. I think her one friend might, I think where does we live, like DC or something. But yeah, they kind of live, I think, generally around
Okay.
there. And then next weekend we're gonna hang out with her girlfriends that are out here, and kind of get stoned, get some munchies, and just kind of chill. Um,
Oh, with those vibes. Oh, with those vibes.
yeah, it's cool because I've met them, but I haven't spent much time with them. So I was like, yeah, like why don't we all hang out? Like that'd be fun, just kind of vibe out, get stoned.
At some point, you're gonna have to meet him, right?
Oh, yeah. So,
But yeah, but I was thinking,
oh,
I
yeah.
I, th I think the format that we have for Thaddeus is perfect because like I kind of want to. Yeah, I feel like it's a different thing when we kind of set the tone of what we're about to like what the theme of the pod is gonna be.
hmm
So we just kind of introducing what juxtaposition, which is a new word that I learned from my buddy. Um,
I think I'm
yeah,
that buddy. Didn't I text you that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was hoping you'd call me out for doing
yeah,
my
yeah.
the live recording, but
Oh, I got
hey
you. I
man,
got you.
that's for the you gonna have to run that one back.
I got you. I got you.
Pretend like we ain't
You
chat
feel
about it.
you feel like we're do you feel like we have enough? I'm a little nervous we don't have enough. We good, right?
I mean, I think we're good because like you said, we're trying to keep it like an hour 15, 20, 30. And yeah, bro. 'Cause I mean,
Okay.
these are not light questions.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. Yeah, we should,
Yeah. And this could be like an open invitation to come back again to chat more, even like we did with Lexi. I'm
yeah,
sure Thaddeus is gonna be back here again for sure. I know he
yeah,
is.
that'd be a fun one. Yeah.
Like me and him kind of we chat here back and forth on the ground, you know.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is Aaron married or
No, sir.
how old is he?
He's in his 30s. Like, yeah,
Well,
mid 30s. Yeah. I feel like most of the people out here are like in their 30s.
yeah.
I'm like around, yeah.
You can't no baby kids or teenagers or young early mid 20s because living out there, different story.
Well, I mean, they definitely are. They're out here, but it's just like I'm not trying to like. It's just not we're not really like. I'm not trying to do the same shit as a 22-year-old necessarily.
Yeah.
I'm in fact not on demon time. It's wild how that works.
Yeah. No more of that. No
No,
more
sir.
demons. I'm
No, sir. I came to the light.
trying to get myself there, bro.
Yeah, say, bro, you dabble on the demon time for sure.
I mean, I look, you guys still live a little bit, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm living a bit, but mad intentional, bro. Like it's getting to a point where even like girls that I've matched with and like Hinge, do any dating app I have, it's just yeah, it's just it don't feel organic. Let me just say that.
Mm.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, it's
Every,
not.
you know,
I mean,
it's
it's
not.
not.
It don't feel right, and I feel like I'm applying for something. You know, I gotta hit every crack. Nah, bro. Look, I'm not here trying to impress anybody, bro. Like,
Mhm.
you know, and that's
Yeah.
where the real life kind of scenarios come into play for me that matter. But we could ask some more questions on him. We could ask him about his love life. We could ask him about his Olympics journey. We could ask him about because he was about to be in the Olympics, right? Or on the Olympic team for gymnastics.
I don't know if I knew that.
I think it was
Yeah.
him.
I mean, I know he was high level. I can't remember. I'd be sometimes like I've like had a conversation about it. Ooh, that's a good like. I think that'll be a good one. Actually, I'm gonna put this here.
And I can even mid what is it called? Mid pod. I can always ask him some old ones from like Thaddeus's pod or Lexi's pod.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of.
Let's see. These Lexi's.
I think I got a fire one. I just dropped on the top or like right under the intro stuff.
What is your background in athletics? What drew you to physical therapy?
I
How
know
does
some of
that?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, keep cooking. I'm looking for some right now myself.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do another one while you do that.
I think this would be a good one to like um, kick off the deeper stuff. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
Mm-hmm. Fuck, it won't let me type. Oh, we can't both be doing right. It has to be
No, we
one
definitely
person.
can. No, I definitely can. Oh, are you on your laptop?
Yeah.
So it still won't let you type? You definitely should
Mm-mm.
be able to. It definitely should let you. That's like the whole point of this is that people can work on it at the same time.
That's bullshit. It's all good.
It's really not letting you type.
Yeah, bro. The question is, if you won 10 million today, how would you vote? Yeah, you know the question.
And add another little element to that. I think that he'll appreciate like would the way that you live your life drastically changes? Because like obviously you'd like, pay off your student loans, yada yada, whatever. But like, would your life be different? Would you like, because I could see Aaron like I mean, I would have that like I would, you know, like have my own crib, all that. But like I don't know how much his life would change necessarily, which I think is cool. That's a good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mine definitely would a bit.
Yeah, who you tell is that? What?
What,
I'm
bro?
going to, I'm,
You wouldn't stay in the basement?
nah, I'll go to one. I'll buy a crib and my main, what is it called? My main bedroom is in the basement. Swear to God. Why not?
A basement
Instead
dweller.
instead of having a two-story house, you got a two, I guess, you wouldn't call it two basements, a two-story. But what would you call the equivalent two stories going down?
I think just two stories.
Doesn't that incline going up only, or does a two-story crib you're gonna be thinking is going up, not going down?
I mean, you just have like an underground crib, I guess. You walk in underground, like I guess it's like a silo.
There we go. Yeah, I'm gonna give me a little silo for me and my queen. So when all the storms hit, when all y'all niggas shit's blowing down and shit, I'm chilling. An earthquake maybe, but that's once every fucking eclipse or some shit like that, bro. Let's see. I'm trying to think of another fun question to ask him, bro.
There he
Hey,
is. Well, sort of.
hey, hey, Aaron. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
What up, bro?
Hello, hello.
Good
How
to
we
see
doing,
you.
bro?
I'm doing well. How are you fellas doing?
Doing
Man,
great. Yeah.
we are alive and doing well, my brother.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, happy to be here with you both.
Thank you, bro.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We've been looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah. Well, let's start with a little check-in. How's the day going? How are we feeling in the bodies?
Oh, I love
Uh,
this guy, brother.
Go ahead, Mac. You start.
Bro, and I'm hurting, bro. I'm hurting. I'll be real, bro. I don't know what I did, bro. Like I was doing this like stretching like sequence last night and just kind of sitting on like on the ball of my I guess ankles or whatever. And when I got up, bro, like it just felt like a nerve or a vein was like popped. So it's just been aching. I can move around, I can run, I can squat, but it just aches, bro, like a nerve kind of pain. But
Hmm.
besides that, I'm good. Everything else is good. Running in the heat, going to the gym still, stretching as much as I can, drinking water. Yeah, besides that, I'm good, bro.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And if any of those issues don't resolve on their own, I think I know a guy that can help you out.
Hey, look at it. That's what it's for having friends are for.
Exactly. Sharing is
Yes,
caring.
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm doing pretty well. Kind of in a day of work. Hit a little rope flow session this morning at the gym. Was doing a little bit of that, dabbling, working. working on refining some of those rough edges. But yeah, overall pretty good. It's been sort of the last week or so has been a light training week for me, just kind of relaxing, doing some projects. Um, got a big home project. We're doing the deck this weekend. So figured I was like, look, I'm ready to get back in the gym, but I'm gonna just make it like more restorative versus like going ham and then being all sore trying to move all that lumber and do all that stuff. Yeah. How are you
Well,
doing, Aaron?
yeah, how are you?
Awesome. Well, I feel like the front yard gave you Zach an ability to understand to pace yourself and have plenty in the tank for those at-home projects.
I learned some
Um,
lessons in that one.
yeah. Well, I guess pacing myself through life is a big theme that I have going on. And that looks like a lot more physical rest. And when I am
Mm.
moving, choosing more gentle processes, yoga, tai chi, qigong, not really going to like a 1 rep max or being really strenuous, which is really challenging for me because I love the power, I love the strength, I love the acrobatics, I love the push and the dopamine of unlocking new skills. But right now I'm in a phase as the weather warms to really just enjoy that warmth and move slow and meet my body where it is, which is something I often advise and offer others, but am continually learning to execute that need within myself while it arises. So it was a really nice balanced day. I didn't have to start my day super early like I usually do, so I was able to soften into the day and have
I love that.
a little bit more of an elongated morning practice and had a couple of wonderful clients that are doing really well and in different phases of their healing journey. And yeah, I had about a half hour before this just to settle in and return to the present so I can be fully here with you both.
Dude, and
Love
you
that.
that's going to make this edit so perfect for me, bro. You'll see when I'm done because I love that. I love how you just checked in with us from the jump because that's just about the same length as our intro, bro. That's beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
let's go ahead and get started real quick, man. I kind of just kind of read off the theme of the pod based on what you responded, right? And pardon me for mispronouncing this word, but it's a tough one. Juxtaposition is our theme today. It is the fact of two things being seen or placed closely together with a contrasting effect, which is something I learned from my good friend Zach over there. Juxtaposition can be as simple as turning a turn of a phrase. For example, all is fair in love and war. In simpler terms, it is to place different things side by side. In life, it is the fact of bringing people together, showing a contrast or a new relationship between them. We see contrast around us every day, and that is the core of our theme today. The style, the irony, the humor, the sadness, and the beauty of it all is that it can all be intentional or unintentional. Welcome back to our podcast, Musing from the Mountaintop. I go by Mr. Woo, straight at your chest, Ric Flair, Lord D&D, the first, but I do really care, humbly known as the Tender Giant, Big First, yours truly, Macarios. And to my co-host, he goes by Flowceps, Lord Thunder Thigh the First, a husband to be, a role model for anyone to see. Big Chancla, my broski, Zachary. And today we have a very, very, very special guest. He is an acrobatic animal. He treats life like it's one big, beautiful sequence. He is a proud uncle, a proud father to Rigby, if I said it right, a doctor of physical therapy, our good friend and brother, Dr. Aaron, but as the world knows him as Aaron. How we doing, guys?
Happy to be here. Happy to dive in.
Yes, yes, yes.
Beautiful. I
What
love it.
an intro.
That's what we
Mac
do,
is
baby.
Mac's got a special talent with the intros. He's good at them, man.
That's what we do, man.
I
Yeah.
need some notes on all those nicknames for Zach. I got to start recycling those through and bringing them to light more and more.
Yeah, call him Big Chancla, bro. I call him Chancla just because me, because of the Sperry's he wears, the sandal he wears, he's got them on deck, bro. So I call him Big Chancla.
What was the thigh one?
Lord Thunder Die the first.
Lord Thunder Thigh the first. I think that's going to be my go-to for a while.
Yeah, put him on a
That's
contact. That's your new contact.
I have had an interesting amount of some funny nicknames. Like back in college when I was in like peak meathead phase, I was working at like the supplement shop.
Big
Um,
guy.
I was doing there and like one Saturday morning my boss texted me. He's like, "All right, we're shooting a commercial and like you're gonna be the one reading because I don't want to do it." And I was like, okay. And I'm like shooting this commercial. He takes a Snapchat of me and was like, Johnny Quads.
Massive, bro. And
That
Aaron,
was
I was peeping through your Instagram today, bro. Just so I could get the your dog's name right and kind of see a bit of you, bro. You do some cool shit, bro. I I saw you do this one thing where you hopped on one leg onto a tire and then hopped on one leg and did like a was it a front flip or back flip?
Backflip, I think, in that video. Yeah.
Bro, that shit was crazy. You generated so much power when you flipped. I was like, damn, my back and neck would fall apart if I did any of that shit, bro.
Well, the last time I did a standing front flip, it was when I was 30 on my 30th birthday, just to prove to myself I could. But you can see the ground shake and the video shake. It was not the cleanest front flip. I have not attempted a front flip on anything other than matted and trampoline surfaces since, but I still got that back flip in the back pocket.
Yes, bro. That
Gonna
I
keep
can't.
that one until at least 50. That's the goal.
I love it.
I got you on water, bro. I could do one on the pool, but anywhere else, nah. But it's like you want to start with the flowing horse, bro?
Yeah, let's hop into a little bit of that. So something we like to do, Aaron, if you got a little space, as we get going, just like do a little movement, like I'll hop in horse stance and, move around a little bit, maybe do a few wrist flexion raises if you're feeling it, but love to kind of
Okay.
drop in and just get a little bit of movement. Don't worry about cameras. It's fine. But
Gotcha.
yeah, just kind of drop in and get
Yeah.
a little bit of movement while we chat, get us all kind of going. I just finishing up the workday myself, so could use a little something. Oh,
Yeah, don't worry, Aaron. The video, we're not gonna post the video, it's just the audio, broski.
yeah.
All right. All good.
Oh man. Did you do any training today, or was today a little softer day for you, Aaron?
It was a gentle day, so I did make it into one of the local gyms, but not our APCO
Yeah.
community. And yeah, I did a little bent arm strength, working on a little Shapeo variations, and really trying to tap back into some spinal waves. Been feeling a little sticky in the
Ooh.
low back, been focused a little bit more on strength and power with my personal training. So
Mhm.
my
Mm.
hamstrings really like to come back with a vengeance if I'm not putting some emphasis on that mobility on a week to week basis. So I've been really getting back into spinal waves and hip mobility to try and regain that balance as we get into some of our more spicy pushes with the warmer months, the hiking, the
Yeah.
backpacking, and yeah, just whatever general fun and trouble we can find with grass, walls, whatever environment offers the playground.
Can I ask you
I
a
love it.
question? Is that part of the reason why you moved to Colorado is like the hiking and all that nature stuff?
Certainly. I fell in love with surfing the first time I stood up on a wave in high school, but I
Yeah.
was born and raised in the Midwest and didn't have opportunities outside of vacation to surf. And then I
Yeah.
went for grad school down in St. Augustine, and I was told that grad school was super intense, like everything would be pushed to the max. And
Yeah.
with the joy I found from surfing, I figured if I could at least get out and surf once a week, no matter how chaotic life was, I would be able to get through and still find joy. And that's also where I like learned how to turn and actually like ride the wave and do more than just kind of stand up and tinker on the way in.
Yeah.
And yeah, ended up settling in Wilmington, North Carolina after doing some travel therapy. And it was a great place where I could surf and low cost of living to pay off loans. And after that was done, I was looking at either Southern California, which was kind of all the things I liked about North Carolina. But like everything was just a little bit more exotic, a bigger community, more holistic health, more embodiment of some deeper practices beyond the five senses and the three-dimensional. And Denver and Boulder just always had that call, and I hadn't been in like a mountainous or desert environment before. And I was really attracted to the progressive nature of the area as well as just the lifestyle and the fact that a lot of people are in shape and already trying to do the best they can on the wellness and health side versus like disease care and maintenance side.
There.
And yeah, for someone who has a lot of strong Western medicine credentials, but has found a lot of depth and healing with traditional Chinese medicine and energy work, it's a beautiful space for me to offer all that. for those who aren't just trying to get to the next step or trying to just decrease pain, but really looking at lifestyle change.
Yeah.
One of the first memes that ever caught my eye was like the meme of like, who wants change? Everyone raises their hand. Then who wants to change? One person raises their hand. Because yeah, like the healing process is physical, but it's also mental and emotional. We all have these mental limiting factors we place on ourselves or what our bodies are capable of. And yeah, we also have a lot of story to work through. So if we're really trying to make impactful change, we have to take accountability over our own healing process and find facilitators and guides that can give us the tools in a way that we can receive them. That allows us to meet ourselves where we are to get to where we want to be. And like for me, my personal struggle is meeting myself where I'm at, where it's when it's not where I want to be there. I've had these pretty expansive states and I've been in those flows where everything's going right. And I've also been on the other side where it's like, I'm in the valley. All I know is darkness and the heaviness on my shoulders. And I can't appreciate the sun's warmth because I'm just in my own pain.
Yeah.
And initially that was physical. And that allowed me to find all these tools. And really, the mental and emotional pain is the deeper healing that's unfolding within me. And the deeper aspect of the healing process, I like to use the physical healing process to touch base with. And also just starting to have authentic communication. I was kind of in that role of like, oh, I meant to play the role like I have it all figured out, like I have all the answers. And I'm also healing through a savior complex. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to acknowledge and work through some of that, but also like allowing myself to be gentle. It's really easy for me to show up and hold space when others are struggling, but to allow for my safety to be held in a container by loved ones or
Yes.
close people while I'm struggling, that's a process I've just started leaning into in the last year. So it's been incredibly profound, incredibly humbling. So I'm being the change I wish to see. I'm trying to authentically speak to my own experience and also like be honest about my humanness.
Yeah.
And I can facilitate the heck out of the healing process. I still struggle with it. And I am where I am today simultaneously because I found these impactful tools at a young age, but
Yeah.
also in spite of myself because I've continued to push until recently, until my body broke. I continued to do all the things and overextend myself and go through burnout and have to work my way through that. I've learned these impactful tools, but within that, I've also abused these impactful tools. I've used meditation to escape the present moment
Oh yeah, I see
instead
what
of
you mean
deepen
now.
my connection to it. I've used Tai Chi and Qigong and these other practices to overregulate or to allow me to feel the way I want to feel and not allowing myself to feel the emotions that I need to feel but don't want to. So anytime we're talking about anything that works, there's the danger of overindulging in that too.
Yes.
So it's honoring that process and speaking to the pros and cons so I can offer my mistakes as a cautionary tale and also that guidance for others wherever they are in their path, walking next to them instead of having this like, oh, walk behind me. Like, no, it's all about walking together and walking together.
Exactly. It's locked in
Yeah.
together.
It's been really easy for me to be in the role of shepherd, but when it's time for me to follow or find my other levels, like there's been some dichotomy or resistance in the past, and that's been at my own expense because I wasn't surrounding myself with the right mentors, the right teachers, the right healthy modeling. So it's been tremendous to reach out and support, and I've found men's groups and a lot of great, beautiful spiritual community here in Denver, and that's why it would be really hard to leave and go anywhere else because all the things I'm looking for are here, but it's also up to me to put myself out there and find those healthy communities and connections.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
curious there, Aaron, talking about like I really hit hit home for me, or it's like it doesn't matter what the tool is or like the medicine, like there's always a dosage. Like I'm curious if you've had any like or any good unlocks you've had around that. I know we've been chatting about some of this stuff, but like where have there been any breakthroughs for you in helping yourself find those balances or like, you know, ways that you've gone about like understanding that a little bit better for yourself, because I think we're similar in the fact that like it's really damn hard when you feel good to rein it back, right? Like that's an addict. That's those chemicals are addicting. Like they're very powerful. So yeah, any like insight you might have on like finding that balance, and maybe some pieces or some thoughts that you've had that have been valuable in that exploration.
Well, I think with anything, awareness is the first step. So being aware of the current ideology, the current training regimen, the current perspective on life, like when that's not serving us in a certain way. So finding where I am, like I might think I'm on the mountaintop, but am I really like in a valley and I'm trying to convince myself I'm at the mountaintop so I can not
Oh,
go through the necessary experience of the valley?
Mhm.
So that's where like awareness is the first step. And that's where it's also having those deep friends who hold us accountable with compassion instead of just the people pleasing
yeah.
or just saying yes to everything or just supporting and offering like the soft side of that, but also being able to reflect like, you know, I've really enjoyed you in our interactions, but lately you seem distracted or your mind's somewhere else, or I'm not seeing the same laughter or smile as often, and just checking in and developing a dialogue with those close to us to help reflect in those areas where we might be trying to convince ourselves we're in a better place when we're not. Because when, for me, like if I know there's an issue to work on, I have no choice but to address it. Um, and my past pattern is viewing weakness as like a negative thing and something I have to attack. But
Uh,
especially with like physical injuries or childhood trauma or emotional wounding, like those areas aren't going to respond well to being attacked. And they're just going to, for me, it's resulted in overcorrection in the other direction. So
Yeah.
inviting that intuition in, once I can be in a space where there's awareness that what I'm currently doing isn't working in the right with all the different balance points, and it's time to start tinkering and pulling on different threads. And that's where we can use the logical. We're like, wow, I've only been taking in 1,500 calories and I've been training 10 plus hours a week and I'm feeling tired all the time. Like, oh, maybe I should take a little more rest, be a little more mindful of my calories, my macronutrients, and make sure I'm giving the body the support it needs with the demands I'm placing on them. Um, Rest is vitally important, but something that I've really struggled with in the past year. Most nights I've only been getting like 3 to 4 hours of sleep with really vivid dreams, and it's almost like spirit is like forcing me. Like I can't run anymore. I have to address everything that's coming
yeah.
up and stepping into who I'm meant to be instead of how I wanted to view myself as I was meant to be. Um, and then once we're in that phase of like, okay, adjustments need to be made, experimentation and
Mm.
self-discovery. For me, I go through all these paths and like the Tai Chi sequences and Qigong and yoga, everything has a certain way it's meant to look in the ideal form. So there's been all these different containers I built a vast amount of knowledge in, but they were all like the lines within those containers were still blocked.
Okay.
So for me, self-expression as well as rest has been what I've been calling in more. And I found that through ecstatic dance and really just having the courage to give my body permission to find the way it wants to move, the way energy
Ooh.
wants to move through it, to create a dialogue of like, okay, like through yoga, I found how to be gentle and meet myself where I am, but was I applying that in different mediums of exercise? Not as well as I could. Um,
Mm.
so awareness, self-discovery, giving yourself permission to fail, to find out what's working in the now and what's not working. And then just always returning to like play and passion. I was very, very Western medicine driven early on, and seeing things in a black and white way was very safe for me. It gave me security and confidence around what I knew because things were viewed in a more black and white way. But the juxtaposition of it all is like we're never wanting to be all black or all white. It's all about cultivating that gray, that space in between, and be able to
Mhm.
be comfortable and enjoy every aspect of the spectrum, even those valleys, because there's still beauty all around us and the vividness, the added detail we can see in the shade. Sometimes the brilliance of the light can be overwhelming. So no matter where we are on the path with the mountaintops, the valley, the peaks and ebbs and flows in between, that beauty is always all around us. So coming back into those things that bring me joy and offer beauty instead of looking for the negative or seeking the unsafe in any situation. How can I cultivate and call in more of that safety?
Wow.
But yeah, awareness, self-discovery, experimentation, and continual honesty with what's working and what's not, especially when what's working might not be the direction you thought you were meant to go
Ooh.
in.
Ooh.
And a great personal example for me is I'm 36 now. If you
Shout out to
told the
that.
25, thank you, aging like fine.
Hey, nah,
Um,
but when I first met you, sorry to cut you off, I didn't think you were that. Like you were 30, 35, 34, whatever you're old when I met you. You look like you're 20, my age, 28, 29, 30, bro. I swear to God.
Again, man, the tools work
They do.
despite my resistance.
But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at 25, that's when I was like, I had the doctorate, I was specialized in every segment of the spine, I was gaining expertise in all major joints of the body, and really like all in on like, where's the research? I have to see the research so I know what to do.
Mm.
And if you told that version of myself that I would be here talking about yoga, tai chi, qigong, energy work, plant animal medicine, like I would have been outraged. And I would have thought myself to be like a failure, a whack job, a whatever. But it's been my authentic path. And for me, I'm really grateful because the truth is more important to me than being right. And helping others get to where they want to be is more important than being right. And honoring that I've caused myself a lot of pain and torment in the name of healing that wasn't necessary. But all of those things were necessary for me to gain the wisdom and the experience beyond the repetitive pattern so I can be in a better space, knowing that I'm never going to be on a mountain. And that's where like everyone I've been in there so many times where like I'm at that frequency, everything's falling together. I can be joy and love and share that fully with everyone. But there's only one place to go after you're at the top, and that's down. So really like anytime we get to that state of like I'm there, I've arrived, like that next wave of realization just hasn't come yet. And it's really not the
Mhm.
point to be on the mountaintop, but to enjoy every aspect of the journey, to cultivate the gray and be able to fully immerse in wherever we find ourselves on the spectrum, moment to moment.
Yeah,
I love that. That's such a good
yeah,
answer to that question. Oh my God.
yeah, that's beautiful.
And that and
Well,
and
I'm really, really good at talking and really good at tangenting. So I will answer a lot of unasked questions, and that is just where I'm at in the
That's
moment.
no,
no, that's beautiful. We
no,
love it. We love it.
you gave us a beautiful answer from like,
Mm,
yeah, bro. I feel like I was listening to like a poet, bro. I'll be real.
mhm.
Because you
Yeah.
are passionate about like the very thing that you do on your daily basis, bro. And for me, I love that because we talked about it when I was with you for a little bit, and to see you still be on the same energy today is dope,
Mhm.
bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when the authenticity and like the desire is aligned for my greatest good, for others' greatest good, for everyone's greatest good, for everything's greatest good,
Mm,
that energy is sustainable. Listening to my body when I try and train and like tackle a year in a day, like that's also the journey that I'm learning.
oof,
Yeah.
respect.
I understand that one myself.
Well,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, man. No, 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 go ahead.
Let me ask you a little more funny, chill, like question, okay?
Yeah.
If you won $10 million today, Aaron, Dr. Aaron, what would you do with it? And what would be the way you live your life?
There would be a lot of foundations. I really enjoy the creative process,
Okay.
executing all those ideas to their full potential, and to have that come into view is where I struggle because I get bored easily. And I also have a lot of impulses. And again, like the brainstorming and the creative process is really exciting, and I'm really good at getting projects started. But
Okay.
things have a tendency to kind of fade out in the middle. I'm a strong finisher, but it's really like, what's the passion? And
Mm,
that's the difference between a project that starts and isn't culminated yet to a project that's seen all the way through. So as far as finances, yeah, just trying to create more access to deeper forms of healing that aren't reliant on anything other than oneself. Giving
okay.
people the tools to work with themselves to become the best expression of themselves. We all have golden gifts to share with the world. We also have a lot of trauma and repression and other things limiting us from sharing that gold and those gifts. So whatever I could do with that money and with those interests and whatever interactions would come through after that would happen. Yeah, a lot of support, a lot of service professionally and personally, a lot of play, a lot of travel, and also like immersing, like learning with the shaman for a year in South America,
Ah, okay.
going to Australia and working with the Aborigines,
Mhm.
learning from Qigong masters, surrounding myself with all of these great thinkers because it's not just the thought, it's also the energy, the frequency they emit, being around that, and then trying to pull
Mhm.
those most impactful things and connect those healers to the largest number of people possible to facilitate a connection to self. I feel
Mm,
like our war with our current generation isn't a physical war, it's a spiritual war, it's
100%.
a mental war, it's a regaining connection and safety and trust within self, to deepen connection and trust with another, to deepen connection and trust with the planet, the universe. And that all begins and ends by addressing those areas within us that limit us from sharing our gold and emitting that highest frequency that we're all capable of.
Beautiful. I love it.
Damn. Man,
Yeah.
makes me feel bad about my answer on that. But I love how it's tied to like making not just like your life better, but like you said, it's not like we're walking in this journey together, right? So you're still looking out for the people around you and your in whatever event or journey you take with that money, bro. But that's a good answer, bro. Damn.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach? Let me hear you. Let me hear your answer. It's been a
Oh,
while.
that's beautiful. I don't know. I don't know if it's that good, but
Yeah.
definitely for me, I think it's definitely creating like safety, security, like ability to have those experiences, that leisure, right? Like I think that like for myself, a good part of my life, up until the last couple of years has been so focused on like building the safety, building stability, those things. And it's like that has been just that like single focus, which has been like moderately successful, but you kind of get to that point and then you realize like, okay, like yes, this safety is very important. It's nice to not have to like stress out in the day to day about little things. But then you also realize like, okay, like once you kind of there's a threshold where you hit where like it's not fulfilling, right? Like you move up Maslow's hierarchy and like there are still needs you have and when you neglect these parts of yourself or these areas of your life, like those will come up at some point as if you're lucky enough to like make progress, hit some of those goals. Like a lot of times that like the achievement of that goal, or like Aaron said so beautifully, like reaching that mountaintop, like if you go really high, like then you then have to come back down that peak that you've reached. So I think for me it like really would be about like, again, I think, giving myself space and freedom to like just think and see where, see what might come out of it. I definitely have been being drawn towards like this technology, but like how can we sort of like repoint that to be a little bit more synergistic and not, purely like just commerce focused and purely just like monetizing our attention and our like really our experience. I mean, like that's literally, I can't really see it that well, cell phone, but like that's literally like so much has been, so much of innovation has been driven into like social media and optimizing that and like,
Yeah.
all of this social engineering that's with that. And it's not, it's almost like taking, right? If you take like an energetic perspective, it's like stealing energy from so many and then like amassing that to, the handful or handfuls of people who are controlling these things, where it's sort of like feels like it's like strip mining society. It's strip mining the world when you get to like, right, the batteries and things like that, right? Like physically. And like for me, I would love to find a way to make technology like be something that makes people's lives better, that is able to be more synergistic with like our experience and like our environment. So definitely like exploring those things, definitely a good bit of travel immersion as well. um yeah, I think those things are beautiful, right? Taking care of the people around me as well, like
Yeah.
you know um paying that forward. Like there's a lot of people who have invested a lot in me, who have worked really hard so that I can like have these opportunities to go and kind of step out of my own little bubble. So I think, yeah, definitely building foundation, building security and stability, and then like finding passion, finding like creativity in these things. And like technology is one of them that's been on my mind recently. What about you, Mac? What's your answer?
Man, you already know for me, it's one, my biggest one is my family, making sure every single person in my family set is good. Because that's the first thing that we came to America for, taking care of people back home. So if I do that, the rest will be kind of be the same. Whatever passions just kind of that I see fit for my life, then I'll just follow. But also, I always say this because one day it's gonna be a reality. It's taking what we have here in the States, like YMCA's, facilities like that for like the youth, take it back home, right? And kind of so that way we can kind of like, because a lot of the problems that happen in Kenya is kids got too much time on their hands. They don't have the phones like we do here. They don't have like the PS5s and TV and Wi-Fi just on like, as easily as we would do here. So providing like a place where they can go one, read, study, do homework, engage in a sport that's going to bring the community together. It's going to kind of remove a lot of the crime and a lot of the unnecessary things that happen within a smaller village. So kind of taking that back to Kenya. Um, that's really it. Everything else would just be me traveling, just seeing the world, bro. I got a second chance at life, so one thing I told myself is I will see the world, and I will see the world. However that is, whether it's gonna go see some shamans, whether it's gonna go see a concert, whatever it is, bro. I just want to see that whatever I was given the second life to see. Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Love
Beautiful.
that.
We got another we got another question for you, a light one. Um, if you could have a dinner party with three guests from any time, who would it be?
Oh, wow. Mm. Alan Watts has, as a singular entity, probably made the most personal impact on my life and personal spiritual journey. So he's definitely one. I
Alan
mean,
Watt.
Bruce Lee, like, I feel
Yeah.
like the
That's
combination of
tough.
achievement, nuance, detail, like master of craft, and just someone I think that would be a trip in so many different ways.
Mhm.
He would be up there
He's
third.
also quite a deep thinker. He has a philosophy. I've read a good chunk of his book on philosophy at one point. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a very nuanced individual. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole be like water,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
love that soul. And then wish he had more years to share his wisdom.
Mhm.
Man,
Um, I don't know, Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. I feel like any of the great thinkers would be fun. Um, but who would that third person be? Can we do
that Bruce.
religious figures as well?
Hell
Of
yeah,
course.
bro. Why not? It could be
It's your
anybody.
dinner party.
Yeah,
Oh, I
bro.
mean, I would love to have a conversation with Jesus and what his real teachings are all about. So yeah, we'll go Yeshua, Jesus, if source, creator, Brahman, God, Great Spirit themselves are not allowed to join.
Okay.
Yep. I like that.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
that
good one.
Bruce Lee one the most. That one I've come Morgan Freeman, Thomas
Mhm.
Jefferson.
Mhm.
Bruce Lee is a good one. I never thought about that, bro. That's yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a good person to have a chat with. But
Mhm.
he's like, you got one for him?
Yeah. I'm curious. Where, obviously, like where the world is changing so much, right? You look at technology, those things. Like, where do you see, like, based on kind of if you had to extrapolate out from where you see the world going, like the right, like the energy, right? You're very in tune with those things. Where do you see the world looking like in 10 years, in 50 years?
Well, barring nuclear holocaust or anything else like that, and humans are still relatively in their same mode that we are now, I think splitting into two factions is the most likely thing to occur, whether it's 10 years, 20 years, 50 years down the line. There is this comfort and convenience of AI, but that also typically takes us further and further away from nature and our natural rhythm and cadence we're meant to be in with the universe. So I would see that as things continue to unfold, that the black and white would continue to separate. So in one faction, a return to the ways of the old and being with nature and cultivating everything by hand, and those smaller communities building into a greater community with that same belief system. With the other faction going along the lines of like interweaving consciousness with artificial intelligence and seeing what the end range of that thread looks like. Because I think those two poles are so strong and there's so much pull to each of them based on our nature, nurture, and what we're desiring out of life, that natural draw to the extremes to find that balance with different ideologies requires a certain degree of separation. So that's kind of the unfolding, reading the tea leaves, I believe, would go. But I mean, the ideal would be for us to continue to build understanding and be able to cultivate the best of all these things instead of the worst of many things. So more of a coming together of ideas and transcending the ego, me, you, and understanding like we all come from the same thing. We're all meant to be connected and in harmony to make this the best utopia it can be given the context and circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that those two, like, do you think those two sort of factions, do they coexist? Do you think, or what do you think that like interplay looks like?
Ooh. I'm glad that's a theoretical because human history and the irony of human history that we're taught in school, it's the only history we know for sure is inaccurate because it was written by the victor of the victor of the victor of the victor of the victor. So just the fact that that's not brought to light enough blows my mind. But human history has shown that we revert back to power, greed, and corruption over time. And that's where anytime there was a close to utopian state within our recorded human history that we're aware of, there's been the fall.
Yep.
But that's also the cycle. Like to give birth to many stars, you have to have the death of a star and to have all that matter, that turbulence to create a new homeostasis, a new balance point. But yeah, in all likelihood, whoever had the most weapons would have the most power and authority, and that faction would typically win out if we're looking historically.
That is so, like what you just said is so true. History has been written by victors behind victors, behind victors, behind victors. Like you don't really know the actual truth. And for me, that's why I love learning about my tribe and my history because I learned a lot of truth because when I came to the States, and I had a really hard time, learning the American history. But then when I was younger, I was being taught the world history and Kenyan history and just like what was really going on. And so like when I came here, as I was learning English, I just had this mental like battle, like what the fuck is the truth? Like what really happened? What really took place? And I always felt like an odd being or like a conspiracy theory because I chose to be like, man, that shit don't really seem right. That don't make sense. Like maybe I'm crazy for feeling this way, but like as I got older and met people like you, had conversation like with Zach or some other people, I really kind of fell into that, you know, that I won't even call it like group of like wanting to say things, wanting to inform, wanting to learn more about history. But then I was just being kind of shunned by people saying, bro, you're fucking crazy. This is what it is. Like if you're, Jesus was Jesus. Like you were saying, for me, I believe a whole different story about that. And from what my culture has taught me, it's a whole completely different thing than we are taught today. And you can see it change live as because if you go and look at schools, for example, nowadays they're teaching a whole different thing that they taught us when we're in school. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to kind of keep up because, at some point the lie's going to come out, bro. You know what I mean? Or the truth's going to come out, sorry.
Yeah. I think that's really interesting because it's almost like, yeah, like I mean, you never go back to like freshman year or whatever, like history. Like you don't go retake that. So it's
You
almost
don't.
like as those change, we're all like our world, our view of the world is like we're in these completely different, we have these completely different timelines of the world and how things happened as these generations come up and the 1 to maybe 3 textbook providers just like the story is different. Like it's very interesting like how many you think back like okay there's our generation, maybe every generation or two those are changing so much. Like what was it for our parents and grandparents and like
Yeah.
how has that shaped where they've led society? And yeah, that's interesting. Interesting thing to think about.
Well, and that's even shown in the microcosm of advancements in Western medicine. I'll be out for 11 years with my doctorate in August. And so much of what I taught about why, like manual therapy, massage, hands-on stuff works, has been disproven. And now instead of acknowledging that we don't know why it works, but it works, we create a term, neuromodulation, to describe what occurs, which is basically saying we don't know why it helps. These are our current theories, even though our prior theories and every theory beyond that's been proven wrong. So that's where like I was very research based in the past, but now I just care about what works.
Yeah.
Like if people want to go through and be the researcher to explain why things are so impactful, that's great. But for me, I want to create and find fusions and the best combination of all these powerful tools that already work to try and find something that is not abundantly crazy. Like you don't have to be a top of the 1% to be able to dedicate 3 hours to your body every day. Like
Yeah.
how can we have like a 20 to a 30-minute sequence where for 80% of the population, it keeps them mobilized and well? Now that's not going to work for the whole population. You'd probably have to break it down by decade because each decade we have certain themes, we have certain stresses that are or not there. But yeah, like that would be a beautiful thing would be to just focus on what works and allow researchers to define why it works. I'm more in that creative lens of trying to push things forward and just find the most impactful solution. And for those that are called to try and discover the why, like that's awesome. That's just not the wavelength I'm in, and then hopefully not the wavelength I fall into over time, because that feels like that would be a move in the wrong
Yeah.
direction. But who the heck knows?
Yeah,
I've
and
had a lot of views on the future that have been accurate and inaccurate, and things are always changing.
yeah, and I'm curious, like in that vein, I mean, in some aspect, I assume you had to be pretty skeptical if you're very research driven and like constantly searching for that like sort of finite answer. So like how do you address that? And how do you work through and maybe help people work through that skepticism when you're working and kind of fusing these different modalities and maybe in some of those situations where people are maybe a little bit more linear in their thinking and need it to like make sense. Have you found success in working with that and helping them kind of navigate that? Or yeah, what's your approach there?
Yeah. Where I was in the South, there was a lot more resistance and a lot more stigma around just terms of like yoga and Tai Chi. So that was a lot harder sell. And I would have to just introduce these things as physical therapy or like home exercises. I wouldn't touch on their background,
Hmm.
knowing that there could be some judgment around that. So here again, like it's not really a stigma. There might be a like the why behind it, and I nerd out on the why. And I have the why, whether it's research based or based on clinical decision making, and logically it should make sense. But there's a lot of overlaying maps of these different theologies, but the stress points are all really prioritized pretty consistently. So we have certain areas where there's like a knowledge of this area is important and we want to keep a certain amount of resilience, pliability, and strength in this area, regardless of the theme. And other times there's a direct contradiction, but there's a high emphasis on the importance of the area. So for my intellectual process, trying to pull out what the most important things are, it's trying to find, okay, well, these are definitely important spaces. How can I pull from all these things to best address this physical body that's in front of me? Because the cheat sheet is in front of me. I have the body. That's what we're working with. So as far as how to weave that in, that's a little bit of my background. But any resistance with others, it's talking about it. The nice thing about being an overthinker is I'm really good at analyzing and breaking things down in a linear way for that linear mind. For other people that are more intuitive,
Ooh.
I can just offer the movement or the exercise or the modality, and they can just feel the response and know that that's something that's meant for them. And it's just like table work. There's some people who are just so tight and they don't know how to relax or find safety in their body. And other people just like being free to express themselves, even to audibly exhale for some, just like a, oh, is too much. And
Hmm.
a lot of that population are more on the female side. So, like, whatever our repression, whatever our conditioning, whatever our stigmas are, they're withholding us from allowing these things out. Like, that's being internalized and creating other internal hotspots beyond the physical musculoskeletal hotspots. So, just for those people that have a hard time opening, giving them that permission and being with them as they find their voice. Like, what's an exhale of anger sound like to them? What's this buildup and pressure on this muscular knot? What would that sound like being released from the body? And just finding those early access points to feel the freedom and the spaciousness and the softness and lightness of the letting go of whatever that is a great entry point. But really, like, I've proven it with my body and all the Western medicine diagnoses I have. So I've been able to prove that the system works in my body, and I've been able to have a lot of other success stories that really defy Western medicine logic through those same principles. But at the end of the day, I can have all the credentials. I can prove it in my own body. I can talk the talk. I can walk the walk to the best of my ability while being human. At the end of the day, it's about trust.
Mm.
So all these things allow for an environment for an entry point. And that's where one-on-one, those electromagnetic fields, our energy fields are interacting, and they can feel a healing frequency and a belief in the tools I offer in me. And this goes well beyond what's consciously being aware of, but as far as why I think I can help get people to a point where they can receive that information or give themselves permission to try to go a different way. It's that feel of authenticity and desiring to help them get to where they would like to be, while also knowing I have complete and utter belief in the tools I have to offer. Because
Lovely.
we all are our greatest healer, but there's so much deprogramming that's necessary to actually be in that space. So for a lot of people, especially that are like stuck in the chronic pain zone and their day-to-day life is based on their pain, not on their life experience, they're not in a space to like trust. So the
Yeah.
closest thing I can ask for is that trust in me and the trust in the process to allow them to get out of that frame and that phase, and that bypasses their own limitation and judgment on themselves to allow for their true self to start healing themselves. And chronic pain is one of like the hardest populations to work with, but also one
Yeah.
of the most rewarding, because you can meet someone and they are at their bottom and they can't feel the warmth of the sun on their skin because they are so in their pain. They can't show up as the brothers, sisters, fathers, mothers, sons, daughters that they want to be,
Mm-hmm.
because that pain just has that grip on life. And to see as that pain and that trust and safety is being restored in the body, to see that personality come out, to see the laughter and the humor and just what was in them all along as they allowed themselves to get out of that chronic pain state. And really, like, the closest thing to seeing like survival to thriving in like a microcosm of the human experience is it's helping someone with chronic pain and facilitating that healing process to where they have the confidence to help work through the pain that they might still have the rest of their lives, or in those other cases, how to be pain free consistently with the
Mm-hmm.
right tools. At the same time, the saddest part of working with that population is those that start getting to a point where they're getting out of pain, but they don't know who they are outside
Mm-hmm.
of the pain. They go back to the comfort of the pain and the survival mode because they don't know who they are without it. So it's simultaneously one of the most rewarding, fulfilling populations to work with, but also some of like the hardest hardships and the deepest aches for myself to hold for others when that happens as well.
See, I was gonna say, bro, like you are a beautiful person in this world that you're in. That still you're still human. That still has to be mentally taxing, bro. Like dealing with that many people and just that's a lot. You do you feel that at all, or you it's just kind of you just so used to it.
Yeah, that's why I have tools, and that's also why I go through phases of burnout. I mean, I'm a recovering perfectionist. I've historically had an addictive personality. Um, I really like seeing people happy, even to the point of losing myself in that process.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing to hold that space, but also like having a really strong energetic practice, a strong meditative practice, and actually using that time when I don't have the energy and I don't want to do Tai Chi, or I don't want to sit in meditation and let my thoughts float. I want to cling to that thought. I want to beat myself up over that thing I didn't say just right. Um, So yeah, like when I'm doing well, managing myself and continuing the positive vices, it's good. But when I fall back into the clinging to certain aspects or desire to numb and take the easy way out, then burnout and further healing and further lessons are learned.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like I love surfing, so it's riding the wave.
Yeah.
Like I was very passive on the wave. I thought it was like, oh, I will just be of service, and service without boundaries is self-destruction.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like it's all learning to find that balance. And for me, being honest with myself about when I need to rest more and when I need to fill my own cup. Because until this past year, 10 out of 10 times, if someone was in need of support and I didn't have the energy, I would still show up.
Yeah.
And my gift to be able to hold space and offer support when I've got nothing in the tank is truly a gift. A
Yeah.
gift I hope I never have to use.
Yeah. Oof. Oof. Okay. All right, my boy. I got one for you myself. Well, Zach as well. What is your personal philosophy when it comes to honoring ancient practices but integrating them with modern modalities and or technology?
Mm. Honoring's a loaded term because I feel like for most we have to strip away the substance and have to present it just as a singular thing, like a tool to be used within this certain parameter or construct.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I feel like fully honoring that I feel like there's some judgment on that for me. But I also view myself as a gatekeeper of these tools. So I introduce the fundamentals and the movements. And then if there's interest and openness, I can speak a little bit to the ideology, the philosophy behind it. And then over time, like let's say they really resonate with Qigong or like Kundalini work or shamanism, having references and resources to allow them to further find that guidance and pull on that thread that's resonating to further help themselves. So as far as integrating, I think it's just getting it on people's radar, however they seem to be open to it, and trust that
Yeah.
those are ready for the deeper lessons will feel the call, and then properly being able to support them through the tools and depth of knowledge I have. And when it goes beyond that point, offering the proper resources for them to continue to blossom down that path on their own with the right support.
Oof.
But as far as interweaving ancient philosophy with modern, I mean, what works works. So how do we maximize working with what works best based on context, circumstance, individual goals? Yeah.
I'm gonna put that on a shirt. What works works. Take it how you want. It's like it is what it
Uh-huh.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful. Yeah. Let me see here what we got. Yeah, I'd love to hear more, kind of talking about, I think you said at the
Mhm.
onset, Aaron, like talking about things maybe outside of the three-dimensional, and I know we've touched on a little bit of some of this, on this topic a bit, but like, yeah, like what does that look like for you? Maybe in whatever way you can share or more appropriate, like, yeah.
Ooh. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, the degree of honesty here is a unique challenge.
Okay.
Um, I've been blessed to have a number of metaphysical experiences in my life. Um, I had a near-death experience at the age of 2,
Ooh.
and I was able to go back. There was like a weird phase after that recovery where I couldn't make eye contact with people for like 6 months. And it drove my parents nuts because I was a very sociable child to that point. And I was able to kind of go back in a deep state of meditation. And what was happening is when I would make eye contact with people, I would see their traumas. I would see the way that they died. I would see these really
Oh.
scary things.
Oh.
And I had horrible night terrors up until like the age of 8. They still continue now. Like I had one on last Thursday that was super, super trippy. Land of Jabu. It's like Mad Max meets all sorts of like Hunger
Oh
Games.
shit.
It was intense. Um, so some of these things are just the subconscious mind resolving themselves, but some of them are also deeper. So especially between the ages of 8 to 12, I would have these weird dreams, but they seemed like they were more than a dream. So much so that I held to those memories of those moments for a long time. And it turns out some of those were blips, little frames of experience with plant medicine. Like the first time I sat with ayahuasca, one of those visions or dreams that I held on to happened, 2 decades later. And that continues to be the case with certain themes where like I had these tidbits of like these expansive, conscious, incredible experiences, as well as these really bizarre, dark, abstract experiences.
Mm.
So certain things are just the subconscious, but also there is a deeper layer, and whether you want to call it like a near-death experience to allow the veil or the frequency of the other side beyond the five senses to become more clear, who the heck knows? I landed on my head a number of times as a gymnast. I had a figure skate go through the top of my head one time. Like, if anyone's looking for logical explanations for why I'm really out there, you will find them. But really, yeah, like, especially when I started at the age of 26, blending Kundalini and yoga together, that's where I started having consistent visuals, a couple out of body experiences. And I was really pursuing the authentic path of spiritual enlightenment through the yogic approach. And I've been blessed that where I put my energy, I have success. So I had varying degrees of success being able to experience other dimensions, interacting with other beings. So all of that is very real, and that's hard to speak to because
Yeah.
unless you've had an experience like that, there's going to be some trigger around it. But I'm comfortable enough with myself now to share that degree of knowledge. Perhaps more detail beyond that is too much, but that is a very real thing, and there is an infinite number of experiences that lie in between the waking state and the sleeping state. And we all have the capacity to experience those dimensions with intentionality, and we all have support beyond this plane, and we all come from one
Mm-hmm.
thing. No
Mm-hmm.
matter what we want to label it, we can see the magic that can happen through thought and prayer, and now starting to understand some of the linear thinking beyond that, if we can call quantum physics linear thinking.
Ooh, it's crazy.
So oh, the show me the evidence people on this, like, drive me up the wall. The evidence is there. Lynn McTaggart's The Field, Bruce Lipton's Biology of Belief, Candace Perth's Molecules of Emotion. Biocentrism is an entire different philosophy on consciousness and why the universe works the way that it works. So again, quantum physics is already there, and there's a number of books that touch on principles of quantum physics and try to apply that. So the truth of this universal oneness has already been proven to a degree. It just pushes back so aggressively against most people's perspectives and perceptions of reality that it's too much of a gap to close. But the evidence
Yeah.
already is there. So if that's like the limiting factor to get in the door to experience things like energy healing or other subtle energy, prana, life force energy type of tasks, things that we're not just addressing the physical body, but something deeper, whether we want to call that a mind body connection or mind body spirit. However,
Trigger warning,
however
trigger
that
warning.
looks. And again, like the ickiness is there, and let's celebrate that because that trigger is telling us something. And it's
Exactly.
not my responsibility to define the trigger. That's everyone's responsibility. Again, all I can do is to speak my truth. And I've been blessed to have a tremendous experience that's stranger than any fiction I've come across so far.
Wow. Can I say something real quick? Have you guys seen, I think I've told Zach this, but have you seen it's one of the Zack Snyder movies, the Justice League movie, where it's a scene you can look up on YouTube, not the whole movie, but Flash is running backwards in time, and it's like he's running back into like this black empty space, and by each step he's creating reality, right? That's literally how I felt when I was in the hospital. Like there were days where like I would close my eyes and there was something in like that when you close your eyes, that empty black space, there was something there giving me comfort and telling me that it's gonna be okay. And what you said earlier about like resting and also believing and having like faith in the process, I knew I was going to be in for a journey. but I knew something was like, I knew I was gonna be okay. It was no other fucking choice. I was gonna be okay. But there was something behind that curtain that I wasn't allowed to see yet, right? I could have if I gave up, but like I'm here for a purpose. And it's hard to have that conversation with people because when you're talking about other beings and other dimensions, like yo, that shit is there. You know what I'm saying? Like that is there. Trust me. Like I was septic twice in the hospital, and each time I would hallucinate, and my mom would tell me like I was speaking to her as if like I was there the whole entire time, but my mind was somewhere else. Like I was in this like colorful, like color vibrant area that I couldn't even make sense of it. That was giving me peace and letting me know, hey, you're here momentarily, but you have to go back. You know what I'm saying? And when I came back, I tried to have this conversation with my mom. She'd be like, "Are you crazy? What's going on? Is my son okay?" But then I sat with myself in the nights where I was alone, and I really kind of like processed it all. I'm like, "Yo, I'm not trying to say it's the God that we all pray to, like that one man upstairs, but something is there that's bigger than me, that is also me as well too. If that makes sense, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but that's my experience with that.
Well, I love that. And it does bring up one of my favorite talking points. I like to view the self as the small self with a lowercase s and the
Okay.
big self, the capital S. So I am the small self. I am consciousness confined within this vessel that is Aaron on planet Earth in Colorado in the Milky Way galaxy. At the same time, I am the universe.
Yeah.
So that duality, that juxtaposition, possibly might be a reach for that definition, of how like I am my own ocean. You are your
Yeah.
own ocean within the deeper ocean of Colorado, wherever we're living, the deeper ocean of North America, the deeper ocean of planet Earth, the deeper ocean of our solar system, the deeper ocean of our galaxy, deeper ocean of the universe, the deeper ocean of the multiverse, whatever the heck it is beyond our universe. So that's how like I can be my own ocean and be so vital and important, but just be a drop of water in the
Right.
greater ocean, but still share that same essence and all those same qualities. So that concept of separateness, again, like we still live in like a Descartesian view, which is hundreds of years old at this point, and it's just so trivial. But
Yeah.
to feel safe enough in our bodies and then be around people to speak to that experience. Like I was having these intense visuals in these incredible expansive states for 2 years, and I couldn't talk to anyone about it because
Yeah.
I didn't know if like I was awakening my third eye like my intention was. I saw art from people that had tumors on their pineal gland, which looked very similar to a lot of my experiences. So I was like, oh, do I have a tumor? And then third, like, am
Right.
I going crazy? Um, and it took a long time. And luckily, there was a random, beautiful soul I met at Unity Church in Wilmington, North Carolina. Shout out Dameron Midget. I love you, and you've got a weird last name, and I love it all the same.
Wait, it's
He was
midget?
a and
Nice.
a incredibly big, loving soul, and he was the first person that like had any awareness of my experience. And he
Mm,
was the first person I was able to talk to and speak to that. And that led into pursuing Reiki and then my first dabbling in shamanism to try and find an understanding of how to cultivate management around that sensitivity because we can't be sensitive to the good without also being sensitive to the bad. So
yeah.
going into those states, like you can fracture and lose parts of yourself for periods of time. There's a lot of crazy stuff that can go wrong in
Yeah.
those scenarios. And that's where it's so necessary to find the proper mentorship and tools. And I just was in a space where I wasn't willing to find the proper mentorship. And I couldn't find the right entry point to even find the safety to discuss these things. So I think the beauty of us at the risk of triggering some is also giving liberation and affirmation to others that like, oh, I'm not alone. This isn't just in my head. This is an
Yeah.
experience and there's something to this and it's a gift. I just have to learn how to understand it and manage it in a way where it's a positive versus a negative stimulus in my life.
Yeah.
Fire. Fire, 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 Spence. Let me ask you this, my boy. What does holding space mean to you?
Mm. There's been a lot of changing thought around this recently, so this is a poignant question.
Please cook.
I think holding space, just like with everything, what that looks and feels like depends on context and circumstance. So holding space for someone, I have a work trade with a massage therapist, and she was going through a really hard time and uh, had a lot of heaviness. So for her, holding space looked like allowing that permission and doing a lot of light energy work to allow certain things that were ready to release to be released. And then after the heaviness was gone, she was feeling better. She was feeling more free and trusting in her body. We went over to the gym to find like our more movement aspect, and that became more playful and fun.
Mm.
And we were able to find moments of joy and connection and support. So that's what holding space looked like for her in that moment. For some who are stuck in the darkness, some people just need to be witnessed in their struggle. And
Oof.
I am like a fixer, and I like to offer things that can be of help, sometimes to the point of my own detriment or going against the initial intention because my need to be of help is so important. So what I'm learning in time, and sadly I learned this at celebrations of life for individuals I lost early to suicide, there's no feeling better in those circumstances. Um,
Yeah.
and it's honoring the darkness and sitting in the dark with people and just having that presence of love and compassion while also allowing for the grief and the emotional response within oneself. I think that is holding space on the extreme depths of the valley. And for those that are feeling stuck and helpless and that there's no way out, to be able to hold space, sit in the darkness, and still hold love and compassion for everything that person is is the most sincere and challenging form of holding space I've experienced in this lifetime.
Oof.
Ooh,
Yeah.
all right, let's
No, that's beautiful because I can definitely relate to that, my boy. Trust me.
Mhm.
but yeah, clearing that, but yeah, honoring the valley and having grace and love for those in their struggle uh, is an incredible gift. But I would also like to caution, um, for me, another one of my gifts is being able to love someone as they are, warts and all, whatever they might construe as bad or ugly. But I also don't think it's talked enough about how much pain and abuse can come from someone who's not ready to love themselves or to look
Yes.
into those areas of the bad or ugly. So for me, with the savior complex, I felt like in those situations, I couldn't set a boundary.
Hmm.
That was where the worst case scenario would happen. It had happened for me historically in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a space and there's a certain amount of support we can hold. But at
Yeah.
the same time, like there are moments and circumstances where it is best to not hold that space for others
Yeah.
and trust that their process needs to be done alone to a certain degree, or yeah, like knowing when the toll is mounting within you and not continuing to take that on and walk away if that's what the situation calls for. I feel like that's not discussed enough, and sometimes we need permission and to consider that to feel the safety in honoring ourselves and walking away from certain situations that don't serve us.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of people that push others away because they're not ready to change and other people are changing. So there's always the other side.
It's like I'm sorry. Like I feel you, bro. Like I caught myself in that same position too, where like for years I've always seen myself and people would say I'm a fucking social butterfly. Zach would say this, but it came from that one experience of losing my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I always, well, and whoever I came across, I wanted to make sure that I brought some sort of positive energy in their day in that moment that they interacted with me, so that way I can never be living in that. What could I have done? You know, to that person if they did something like my brother did, you know. But then after a while, like especially these past 2 years, I started realizing that I was always a person that people would run to and just suck energy and just drop all their bullshit, trauma, or experiences they're dealing with, but it was never reciprocated. And I never wanted to feel transactional, right? Because then I feel like I'm placing my happiness on somebody else's hands, right? But then after a while, I'm like, man, like ain't nobody really looking out for me, right? And then when I stopped giving that energy to that many people, then I started realizing who's really there for me, like who's really meant to be in my life. And so yeah, what you're saying is 1,000% fucking factual, bro.
Yeah, and it is so wild. The people we want to stay in our lives so much are typically the ones that aren't ready. But then that
Yeah,
creates the space to find those people that are.
exactly.
So it's having that courage and trust in the universe to let go and know that our best good is in mind and that's coming. And
Yeah,
that's the other like the solace in the valley. Like the nice thing about being at the bottom is there is only one way to go. And
exactly.
Yeah.
it's really easy to trust and surrender when we don't have a choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, you can still fight it. I can attest to that. You can still you can still not surrender.
well, I again, like, I absolutely love surfing. And I think one of the deepest times I was able to fully surrender in this life was the first time out I was surfing hurricane waves. And I had only been surfing consistently for 3 months.
Ooh.
Me and my buddy had no business being out there. But hey, we paddled, we made it past the break. And I think I got crushed pretty quick, but I was able to get out of it pretty quick, the first one. The second one, I was like on a half pipe and I was not on the wave where you
Ooh.
wanted to be. And it rolled me over and I was tumbling with it. I had no
Mm,
idea which way was up. And in those situations, the initial reaction is to try to just paddle to find safety to move. But then through that movement, we deplete ourselves of oxygen and create the need for breath that much more.
yeah.
So in that moment, and like I read about what to do in those situations, I wasn't a Boy Scout. I like to be prepared. And I knew what I had to do was just let my body go limp, roll, have whatever happen. And then once things calmed enough where I knew which way was up, to go back up to the surface. But the peace, the stillness, the clarity I felt in that surrender, even though I was being hurled repetitively in this tornado of a wave as it was breaking, um, is some of like the purest depths of consciousness I've experienced at the
Wow.
same time. So, but yeah, like when we don't have a choice but to surrender, we still have to make the choice to surrender, but it can be a lot easier than if things are going well and we can
Yeah.
get in our like, ooh, well, is this change going to be in my best good? How are people going to be reacting to that? It bypasses everything. So you can fully surrender and be fully present to the beauty that is, even in that crazy situation, as I didn't know which way was up or down, where it was light or dark.
Ooh.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
wild stuff,
Yeah.
man.
I'm I'm curious if you thought about or experienced like surrender at the mountaintop because I feel like that's where, something I don't know that I ever actually have, right? Where I have those really high periods, but I think that, taking so much of that energy and holding on to that so tightly is part of what makes that descent very challenging.
Well, the cleaning doesn't happen until the frequency's been lost, in my
Mhm.
experience. So
Mm,
the mountaintop for me is when I'm allowing the aperture of self-love and source and universal energy, however we want to label that. Like my crown is open, everything is open, and I am just continually being filled with
mm,
love, light, support, and wholeness from the universe. So that's what the mountaintop feels like to me is when I have that full opening and I'm fully open to receiving all the light.
yeah.
And this is where like the inner critic, the self-judgment, all these things get in the way from me gaining to the mountaintop. And that desire, once I allow myself to be in that state, then the desire to cling to it.
Mhm.
And once we start to cling, that's when the fall begins to occur. Or like the pride comes before the fall. I feel like I've made it to the mountaintop.
Oh,
I'm here
yeah.
and I'm just going to be able to stay here. It's beautiful to be able to access that frequency, but how does one sustain that, especially still interacting with so many people on a day-to-day basis who are
Ooh,
still trying to just, pay the bills and get by and aren't even in a space to think about where they are in their belief system and faith and what that looks like beyond what they have to stay in that
yeah.
state of push survival mode.
Mm.
But yeah, like the better I get at surrendering, the more moments I have where I can feel whole and give from that abundant place and everything just is easier, even though nothing has changed. It's all been the internal construct and the allowing and the surrender and trust.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's definitely beautiful. Like it's been a theme for me where where I've kind of come down from one of those mountaintops and the descent was cleaner than it has been, right? Like there have been those just straight up like head over heels, like there's no, it's just like completely free fall. And I mean those times are really challenging. And this hasn't been one of those, but they're, definitely like kind of coming off this period of like, a lot of inspiration and just again, like, oh my God, like this is so much I can't even sleep sometimes, which I'm sure you're like, oh my God, like I don't want to be having all these ideas, this inspiration, it's time to go to bed. And I'm kind of coming out of one of those periods, and like the
Yeah.
biggest thing has really been like my body and brain and system like being able to accept like, hey, I'm not super inspired, but like I'm not anxious, like I'm okay, like I'm just,
Yeah.
like it's okay to just wake up and be okay and not, maybe have to go PR every single day and do that, and still like that experience of, just kind of being and resting is okay, and it doesn't have to be, this period of chasing and doing all of these things, or this period of like, oh, okay, well, I clearly did something so wrong. I've got to blow it all up. I've got to like cut everything, start everything over, completely reset the table, and like I think that's a really, that one feels really poignant of like that clinging is what makes it, it can make it feel like, or create some of those injuries that then you do have to go then repair and things like that. Where if you don't cling and you kind of just roll with it, like maybe that's, maybe you get to the same place you would have been anyways, because like you're probably not going to stop that. But how do you arrive there? How are you able to like recommence the journey? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I love that share. And another theme that's been coming through with me recently is the law of the second arrow.
Mhm.
So the first arrow is the event, or like the chaos. And the second arrow is my judgment around how I responded or what I felt in that event. So life's going to happen. The curveballs are happening for our best good, even though we don't understand or have a hard time believing that in the moment. It makes sense once we are on that next peak where we can see the perspective and make sense of things. But for me, it's been about removing the second arrow. Life can be hard enough. I don't need to add any further limitation or judgment
Mm.
or punishment beyond the event, and just allowing myself to heal and support myself in that healing in whatever way that looks like. Um, but yeah, just being okay with where I am is like always been a struggle because I've always wanted to get to the goal. I've known I've been blessed with gifts and I can make an impact with them. But then I started programming out play and passion, and I became over aligned with purpose. And it became getting to achieving purpose instead of living my purpose every day. So acknowledging that, yes, I am purpose driven, but the best way for me to live in purpose is to be the most joyous, playful, authentic me I can be, and just shifting that construct and believing in it and integrating that into my thought process and like fully into my being, trying to absorb that truth with every cell in my body. It's made a huge difference in the way I experience and move through the world day to day when I interact with others. When I'm on my own, like I have that permission to meet my own needs and prioritize myself. But
Yeah.
with there is this like over alignment with purpose at the loss of self many times. But it's also beautiful because if someone's in need of support and I'm dysregulated and I have that intention to hold space for them, that allows me to come into a regulated state.
Hmm.
So this is where like the teacher and the student really they're just two souls interacting and supporting each other and finding that balance point within those systems based on the tools, gifts, and what's coming up in life and like what they're asking to receive and what support they're asking for, both on like the physical level, but also on like that energetic level, that love level, that being seen in the struggle without judgment, that offering that space of safety for when you're not okay to show that. Um, so I totally lost sight of the original question that got us here. We're back.
No,
And we're back.
that.
No, I think that's beautiful, and I'm curious, like, for someone where I think like that I resonate with a lot of the things that you say. Knowing Mac, we have a lot of those same tendencies. We are definitely people that the people who know us and are around us like describe us in that way of like we're someone who brings joy and light into the room. And having spent time, with myself, with the two of you in more private settings, like a lot of times that does cost a lot, like for people like us, how, have you found success in like finding those ways to reach out and ask for support or like, yeah, and just doing that? Because I've found that to be really hard. Like there's many things. There's of course the ego, the first really loud one, but then there's those things of like, okay, man, it just feels like a lot, right? When it feels like, okay, like this is, the third time in a row that I've seen somebody and they're asking me how I'm doing. And like, we have a pretty authentic circle of people we run with. And I'm like, well, like shit's pretty heavy still, like, I guess, yeah. Do you have like any thoughts around that, or have you found anything in your own journey maybe, yeah, like allowing yourself to access some of that support that's like definitely there, but yeah.
Yeah, for me, it was really getting into the root causes that led me to be the way that I am.
Mm.
So my identity was based around stepping up and filling roles. And those requests were made when I was very young within my own family system. So I was trained that not only would my parents not be able to meet my emotional needs, but it was my responsibility to meet the emotional needs of everyone around me. So for me, and I have a beautiful, loving family. So I hope that's not, well, people will make whatever decisions they will make. But I come from a very loving family. No family is perfect. And
Yeah.
it was also my choice doing the best I could in those moments to step up and fill those roles. And that's allowed me to be a very versatile person. And it served me really well in a lot of ways. But yeah, it created this paradigm that I offer support. I don't lean on others for support. And the other side of that is like, yeah, I do carry a lot of heaviness for others. And I know the toll that it carries directly from opening up and having someone else take on and share that heaviness in that moment. Um, so realizing that that was kind of the root that it stemmed from, and also finding healthy modeling. I found men's groups and a social club at a really great time in my life where I found more spiritually aligned people that I could express myself fully without withholding truth or reservation. And that gave me that permission to ask for support because I was being around people for the first time that were capable of receiving and giving support instead of just receiving it. And there have been other times where I've had really healthy friends that have wanted to support me, but I was unwilling to allow that. So I limited that ability and kept this friendship one-sided because I didn't know how to be vulnerable and trust that person, even though they were showing me that they were willing and capable of taking that on. So again, like I had a friction point that forced me to realize I needed support. And then as I went through the phase of self-discovery and trial and error, I found that proper support. And for me, that looks like a network of close friends. A lot of those close friends are also in the healing line of business. So we can all support each other as far as prioritizing ourselves and having different work trades and health shares and just check-ins, because there is a certain personality that holds that space, but that same personality struggles leaning on us. So yeah, just loving on those that hold that space and showing and reaching out and honoring the impact they have is a great place to help refuel those that are taking on a lot. But yeah, it's up to each and every one of us to work through the limitations that get in the way of receiving support when we're in need of support. And even once I had that support, it probably took me 6 months. It's only been 2 months where I've been comfortable reaching out and requesting support from people.
Yeah.
And it still feels weird and such
It does, trust me, bro.
and I think
but
that,
totally necessary. And like to be
Yeah.
held and have that safety offered makes it easier and
Yeah.
easier. And also it gives me more permission to acknowledge when I'm not doing it, instead of trying to tell, not just for others who are asking for how I'm doing, but for myself, to allow myself to acknowledge like, hey, yeah, things aren't that great right now. What's going on?
Yeah,
Let's
it's like
share it about this. Let's ask the guides and guardians. Let's figure this out before things are too out of control.
Yeah. Yeah. So would you say, obviously, like there are more complexities to it, but would you say it's as simple as just reaching out, right? Like it's as simple as sometimes just asking, and it doesn't necessarily have to be more complicated than that.
It doesn't have to be more complicated than that, but also like knowing or intuitively trusting who it is safe to reach out to.
Yeah.
The other traumas in my life were the few times I did open up and be vulnerable that was used and abused against me.
Oh yeah.
So, and again, it's trial and error, but the beauty in that is that shows certain people are meant to be in your life, and that creates the space, time, and bandwidth to allow for those people who are ready to be a part of that soul tribe, to move in that same direction, to receive and give, and to have that healthy back and forth in that ecosystem that works for both sides. Like that's an inevitability if we let go of the one-sidedness and the toxicity while still honoring our actions and how they contributed to the one-sidedness in the past. There's always more we can do within ourselves. So I think, yes, knowing when to reach out and ask for support, but also continually doing the work to the best of our ability, like that's a constant no matter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's beautiful because, I've definitely been in those situations where like, you're holding space for someone, you're like, man, we're just like kind of here in the exact same place, right? And it's like, are you doing the work, or is this like your things bubbled up so much for you and you just need a place to come, like,
Just
come
dump.
dump that?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's okay, right? Like so we all need that, but there is like I think it's beautiful the way you meant, like the way of like doing your own work. And there's a balance point because again, like those of us who who go that way, like you can't do, like the work is not all by yourself. Like sometimes you just need that encouraging word or that person to like be there. But yeah, it is very important to be doing that work, and I think it does create a frequency as well for the people that are the right people, that they understand, and they'll see that, and they can honor that in a really beautiful way. Yeah, thank you. I think that was an awesome.
Yeah, and it's really cool too. Like men's groups have been more of like a known thing, and it's cool to see in this community how women's groups are becoming more and more prevalent and
Yeah.
accessible. But yeah, like there's only so much work we can do within ourselves. Relationship issues must be healed within relationship. Group trauma has to be healed to a degree within a group setting.
Yeah.
And for me, like I didn't really have a strong father figure, and I didn't really have any elders, grandparent wise, on the male side to show me the way. So just being around healthy modeling versus the only modeling I got to see growing up, like just seeing what healthy modeling can look like is really, really impactful. And
Fuck
beyond the
yes.
modeling, the frequency that's maintained, but also the humanness. Like in some of these men's groups, it can get heated sometimes. But that's the point. That's a part of us. But the intention is for everyone's best good and to support.
Yeah.
Ego and all those things are still fully a part of that process. And to see the beauty and intentionality and the vulnerability while offering the accountability and being the devil's advocate at times, like
Yeah.
all of that is just so incredible to witness. And my capacity to hold space and have a better understanding of other people's perspectives. Guess we have someone at the door. That's my dog, if you hear that in the background.
It's okay.
But yeah, it's really helped me have a better understanding of the human condition beyond my own lived experience. There's a saying in group that when one man does his work, every man does work. There's definitely a degree of truth to that. And just being in a container with men, not just doing the easy work and the low hanging fruit, but asking for accountability while showing vulnerability and owning what they need to work on. Like that's an incredible frequency that's deeply healing and something that really sticks. And again, that's where I'm just so grateful to have found that and to speak to it more. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people are going to appreciate this podcast, bro. Trust me. Just because it hit on so many points, so many levels. It's this is a good one, my boy. Trust. And I'm gonna do my best to get this one out as soon as possible.
Hey, brother, we are all human. I love you and all of your humanness and all of your divinity.
Yep.
And just honored to hold space. And yeah, break things down and go into some detail and possibly trigger some while resonating with others.
Nah, you're definitely coming back for part two or part three and part four. But we like to do because I do gotta head out too because I have to go do some volleyball, here soon. But I wanted to ask you a few more things, because we still got a little bit of time. What are 2 or 3 books that you would recommend to our audience?
The first one is a pretty low-hanging fruit, and it's called A General Theory of Love. It's a recent one for me, recommended by my amazing therapist, and yeah, helped me gain more awareness around some of my conditioning and programming that needs to be shifted to be as aligned and true in that love frequency as I can be. So that's definitely one. Deepak Chopra's Ageless Body, Timeless Mind is a really, really good one as well. And something that's not too heady, Seven Types of Ambiguity by Elliot Perlman. I randomly just trusted intuition walking to a library. It led me to this book, and it basically talks about a singular event from 7 differing perspectives that had different closeness to the event. And that was like the first thing before I really got into meditation and really getting into stillness and finding the profound impact there that really like got me out of my own head and allowed me to start seeing things from different perspectives and how no one's wrong. Everyone has their own story and their own degree of perception of how an event goes down. So a deep, profound meeting, but also like a non-esoteric book that accomplishes a similar thing.
Love. Okay. So I got it down. Ageless, timeless body, right?
Yep. Yeah,
Ageless
yeah.
Body, Timeless Mind. I think it's only been 10 years since I've read it, so who knows how
Okay.
accurate that is.
Okay. Beautiful. With that, are there a couple like movies or shows that you would recommend? Anything that's like resonated for you?
Um, oh, what's that recent one that's really, really expansive?
Their body
Everything,
system.
Everywhere, All at Once.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
beautiful.
Yeah, you guys want to talk about some multi-dimensionality and what that experience can be like and how that can be felt? That's probably the best I've ever seen captured.
Yep.
Um,
Oh, that was
I
a trip.
love Interstellar and like what it
Yep.
would look like to communicate between different dimensions and the mental constructs that's offered around there. Inception, I just love.
Oh,
Inception and Return of the
Oh,
Jedi are probably my 2 most watched
oh.
films over the last 10 years.
amazing.
What
Amazing. Oh
about
yeah.
what about Tenet? Have you seen Tenet?
No, but I've heard great things, and
Mhm,
I mean,
mhm,
that director is like my lifeblood.
mhm.
And I can't
Yeah,
believe
give
we made it this long without discussing Star Wars. I am a huge Star Wars
Uh,
nerd.
yeah.
Um,
it.
Return of the Jedi is what I watch when I'm feeling down, when I'm feeling like I'm sick, when I need support. It is my chicken soup for the soul.
Hey,
Um,
mine's Revenge
so
of the Sith. Revenge of the
thank you,
Sith is my
George
favorite one.
Lucas. And
Right.
also, if you didn't know, the Force is actually based on Qi and
Yeah.
Qigong.
Mm.
I am with the
Wow.
Force is with me is one of the most direct comparable mantras. I am in Qi, Qi is in me, or I am in the universe is in
Yes,
me.
and me. Yeah.
Like, and
Mm.
also with some of George Lucas's talks, he's mentioned how that kind of theology, as well as Joseph
Mm.
Campbell's work, really created Star Wars. So yeah,
Mm.
the Force is real. It's based on Qigong. You should learn Qigong if you're a Star Wars fan. Just saying.
Dude, I'll be real.
Just saying. You
Eh,
want to be a Jedi, it's possible. Become a
I watched
Qigong
the
master.
I watched the Osaka Star Wars thing on Disney, whatever
Mm.
Plus is called. And there was this one particular scene where she was like speaking to Anakin's ghost, right? And like she was standing on like these pathways that were just kind of running throughout the universe. And that was a force in itself. It's like a force that connects every single thing in the universe. And we all have access to it. We just got to tap in.
Mm.
Fucking Star Wars is shit, bro. I feel you on that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys are like it's been interesting. 'Cause, like I grew up like I've always loved Star Wars. Like my brother and I found like a box set VHS of the original trilogy.
Yes.
Like that was my introduction, but I've definitely felt myself like drift away from it a little bit. I have some opinions about some of the stuff Disney's done, but like you guys have like
Yeah,
re-stoked my fire. I think I
True,
gotta go
true.
back and watch some Star Wars.
yeah, Star Wars is
Well,
lit.
and if we can find the original cut of episodes A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, I always prefer the original cuts, especially because I
Yeah.
have a projector. So projector and the
Ooh.
OG version, that is the way
Oh, time
to
out.
enjoy the OG trilogy.
Little
Oh,
nostalgia coming through. When I
I
came to the
know.
States, we had movie time because we were learning English, and one of the many ways to learn English was watching fucking movies and Star Wars on a projector. It gave you that old school 90s, 80s feel. Like I'm watching a movie at a drive-in theater. You know what I'm saying? Not all these 4K, 8K. It's just there's something different about it. I feel you, bro. I
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. Mm,
I
yeah.
got one for you. What are two or three podcasts or whatever amount you want to say that you'd recommend to our audience besides ours?
Oh man. Well, I was gonna say musings from the mountaintop for sure.
Hey.
Um, as far as impact, if I'm being truly honest, Huberman's podcasts have had a huge impact on me. I know that's a very stigmatized name right now, and certainly don't acknowledge or endorse any of his decisions. At the same time, the positive impact he's created with
Yeah,
his education and the resources and references that have been offered have made a tremendous impact for me and has made information more accessible to share with clients who can also achieve that impact. So do not endorse his behavior, but also acknowledge that he is a human doing the best that he can, or at least that's the truth I choose to believe.
Mhm.
And
facts.
very, very grateful for the knowledge that he has bestowed and made accessible to so many.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love that. And I think that's one of those things where we're in this interesting time where there is, there are people who, again, who like expose all of this, give a lot of themselves, and then like their humanness comes out and people want to like banish them. And you're like, what have you done? Have you ever done, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, obviously, like you don't have to
Don't throw
condone
the
it. You don't
baby
have
out
to,
with the bathwater. Yeah, like
you
we're all
know,
human. Allow
you
the
know,
greatness. Like hold on to the greatness. Celebrate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kanye is another really good example of that. Dude's still a genius, but he's pretty
That
fucking
motherfucker,
out
that's my boy, but
There is
boy,
Woo!
man,
there
there's
is
some
no
days,
brilliance without the madness.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's some
yeah.
days my community, we're like, man, should we keep standing up for our brother? But we're like, he drops gems, bro. His music is fire. Some things he says are like, okay, I agree with this,
Mhm.
but you have to say it like that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think you make a beautiful point there too, where it's like there is no brilliance without some madness. Like you don't just like, yeah, you're not a genius. Like think of any like really impactful genius that didn't have some quirky thing or some
Hmm.
crazy cut their ear off, and,
Hmm.
type of tendency. Like I think those things do kind of go hand in hand with one another. Yeah.
Yeah. So too with success and failure.
Hmm.
I'm reprogramming my definition of fail personally, even though I've used this professionally for 10 years. Fail stands for first attempt in learning.
Mm,
So those that succeed, we fail enough until we find success. So the fear of failure is real, but also like there's so much richness on the other side of that. And gaining comfort with failing and understanding what lies on the other side, I feel like is another limiting factor within myself and others that prevents us from sharing our gold and our gifts.
yeah.
So yeah, fear kind of shows us where we need to go. If there's no fear in it, it's probably not the proper direction.
Cool.
Hey, you're sitting with a couple of gentlemen that are sitting in some of that right now. Max sent me the first couple of podcasts. He's like, "Have you listened to him?" I was like, "About 45 seconds," and that was about what I could get through of hearing myself. So, there's
Oh, I feel that as far as like judgment for yourself and how you
oh,
sound or what's
Ooh,
going on within
oh
that.
yeah, oh yeah.
that,
That
ooh.
some of those tendencies and like ticks you have verbally, like for me, I was like, I listened to the section, I said like 15 times. I swear to God, and I was just like, what in the hell? And I will say, I am pretty certain that I've been able to work that out and be conscious
Yeah.
of that. So so that is definitely something where it's facing that is going to do something. You know, I think there's something in my purpose where this ability to present your ideas and stand in, you know, stand in your truth and say it out loud, and you know, yeah, just sit in your truth, say it out loud, record it, listen to it, share it with other people. Like there's something powerful about that. Mac and I have both been
1000%.
really
Yeah.
feeling that call where we're like, wow, the world doesn't necessarily need another podcast, I don't
Oh,
think,
fuck yeah.
but fuck it. Like there's something beautiful in here. Let's go do it and like have fun and give ourselves an excuse to, you know, really stay in contact and talk and collaborate and, you know, have conversations like this.
Yeah. And again, like you guys answered that call, and then I was able to answer this call, and this is my first podcast, and it's been a tremendously impactful experience with less anxiety than I thought. And I think the trust of both of
Yes.
you is what has allowed for that container. So thank
Mhm.
you so much. And yeah, what a blessing, but also, oof, what a steep turnaround to have
No.
that type of feedback. And then
Mm.
it allows for exponential growth. But man, that judgment on the front end for the videos I do with clients, it's the same way. If I don't have to
Yeah.
see the video, we're good. But if I
Exactly.
have to edit and see it all the time, whoo,
That-
that's a
that's
Tough,
different
man.
ball game, boys. That is
It
a
really
different
is.
ball game.
Aaron,
Yeah.
Oh,
I gotta sit there for hours and listen to this shit, bro. I'm like, like it's beautiful, but then I one thing that helped me, Zach, is I stopped like listening for me to listen to how I'm sounding, and just listen to what you and Thaddeus did. And by that time, I was already halfway an hour in, so
Mhm.
that's what got me through it all. But at first, it was shaky. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to skip this shit.
It's tough, man. It really is.
the resistance to even sit and start the
Mhm.
process is so strong.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
is, brother.
yeah. It's beautiful. And you know, I think on one of our podcasts we were talking about this, and I even had to look it up. I have a logical understanding of why, which helps me sit in a little bit as well. There are some qualities that like recording you lose some of the like you don't feel it, right? You lose some of the resonance of your voice, and that's why
Yeah,
it sounds hollow because you're not having the experience of like of the
hearing
literal
this.
like vibration of your voice and it like being in your body. Like,
Yeah,
okay, like that makes sense. Then this is how I sound, and that's okay. Like
yeah.
this is why. Like, yeah. And then also just sitting and listening too. There's
Yeah.
the component of like just doing it.
All right, we're gonna go into well, this is one Zach usually asks. What is one question that you wish we asked you, and how would you have answered it?
Oh man. I guess most impactful, like superhero or comic or coming of age type of whether it's Marvel, DC, like
Oh, fuck
for
yeah.
someone who's got that strong background, like for me, I resonated with DC so much, and Superman
Yes.
comics were the only things I read until the age of 8, and like my container expanded a little bit. But
Okay.
my babysitters had like a bunch of these old Superman comics, and like I just really resonated with like the alienness of it all
Yeah.
and not being able to like express it in word. But also like recognizing the positive impact I could have within that alienness and like allowing that to be celebrated and to come through.
Mm,
And that's something I'm still working on executing to this day, and something I'm sure will continue to be a work in progress for
Yeah.
the rest of this experience here on Gaia University.
yeah. Well, then who would you say is the strongest DC character
What's kind
to you?
I mean, I admire Batman
Oh
because of
my
his lack of superpower and his mind and his capacity to be compared to those with superpowers.
yeah.
So I have a lot of appreciation for Superman, dude. Like Superman,
It's like
Superman.
It's him. Yeah, he's him. He's him.
yeah.
He's him.
Oh.
And
For me,
it's
it's
the
the
first one I
Flash.
was exposed to. Like I
Yeah.
had no hope at anything beyond Superman. Like I've
That's
had
right.
enjoyment and like Spider-Man, the acrobatics, the background in gymnastics. Like there's a lot of resonance with Spider-Man. There was a lot of resonance for Robin because I was never going to be the billionaire, but I could
Yeah.
be the acrobatic rich kid or the acrobatic kid who just like found his way into the family.
Yeah.
Um, so
Into the
Robin
web.
was attainable for me. So Robin was like the second that I had a strong resonance with. It's a little
Yeah.
bit more atypical
Mhm.
than most. But yeah, I was
Yeah.
Superman all the way. Later got into X-Men and some of
Mhm.
the deeper cuts. But
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
you that yeah. We need
beautiful.
I need to know your schedule so we can talk about more about this because this is gonna be a fun pod for
Uh-huh.
sure,
Oh,
bro.
Power Rangers was big too. Kimberly,
How about
first
yeah?
crush. Pink Power Ranger. She was a gymnast. I thought it was meant to be. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. They were casting the right way back in the day, bro. It's
Oh
so
man.
deep.
I
Oh,
don't think Megan Fox is probably the only other person as I aged that held a candle to
Yeah.
the fire I held for Kimberly, the Pink Power Ranger.
Woo. Man, that Transformers movie made me fall in love with her. I was like, hey, they make him like this? They make him like that?
Oh yeah.
oh.
Creator had a special type aesthetic in mind with her.
Man,
Mhm, mhm.
next
But
life, I'm gonna be LeBron
she's
James.
made her own enhancements, so I'm hoping that that's where she
Unfortunately.
desires to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Now this round right here is to close it off. It's called a popcorn round,
Mhm.
right? And is that gonna kick it off?
Let's kick it off. What's your favorite color?
Green,
Green?
Green?
Okay.
Quick,
emerald
love
green
that.
specifically.
Ooh, yes. Mine's olive green, but we're there. I love that.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. Pancakes or waffles?
Don't engage with either on occasion, but if I had to go one or the other, waffles,
Okay.
especially like the Hilton or like the low key hotel waffle maker. That's the only
Yeah,
time I've ever like had a waffle. If I'm at a restaurant, will not order a waffle, but that's
yeah.
like my vibe.
Mm,
It's got to
Okay.
be messy, gooey, do it
Yeah,
yourself, make the mess
mhm.
waffle.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if I'm gonna
Awesome.
eat like shit, it's gonna look like shit. It'll taste great. Might as well just
Mhm.
commit to the whole
Uh-huh.
thing.
Uh-huh.
What was your first job?
Ooh, a swim instructor.
No
Awesome.
way. Oh,
Then lifeguard. Yep.
okay. Um, dream vacation.
Ooh, New Zealand. I can surf and hike a mountain all in one day.
Zach is gonna be there soon. That's love.
Mm. Okay. If you could have one superpower, right back to it, what would that superpower be?
Oh gosh. I've had this conversation so many times and still haven't found an answer I can really resonate with. Um, I think anything too heady or like being able to perceive thoughts or be able to like
Mm,
shift things or see the future, that would be super depressing and chaotic
Yeah.
mhm,
Woo.
and troubling over time. And flying, like, that's intense. Like hair and like killing insects and birds unnecessarily or
mhm,
undesiredly moving at such speeds. So I guess like being able to just be able to go wherever I want to go on Earth, like transpotting, apparating, I forget
Uh,
whatever superpower that would be
mhm.
in the moment.
Transportation.
But yeah, yeah, being able to like be like, oh, I want to be in Hawaii surfing this wave right now.
Mhm,
Okay, I got my hour surf in Hawaii. Let me go enjoy some tea or some fancy stuff in
mhm,
Paris. And then
mm.
oh let me hop on some in
Ooh.
Venice and oh okay let me go play some co-ed volleyball tonight in Colorado, you know?
No
Yeah,
visa,
Uh
no visa. I love that.
yeah.
I love
Damn,
that. Yeah, I love
damn.
that. Mine has changed on this because I think growing up, right, it was always like the Supermans, the Wolverine, all of those things. But I think for me, it's like I really like Doctor Strange, like those, like he just like super resonate with me, and I love that. And I'll even like sometimes when we have conversations, do the like jokingly, like we've done it, we're in a portal. I'm just we've opened a portal. Hey, I think we've done that here. I think that's kind of what this is like, kind of creating this space and like time sort of just goes by, and I love that. And to be able to physically do that, I think would be fucking sweet.
I'll keep it a stack. I
Amen.
was I was thinking flying, but after you said the bugs and all that shit, I'm thinking about it like, damn, probably be running fast at the Flash, just to run fast and free time or some
Ooh,
shit
that
like
would
that.
feel good. That would
You know what
feel
I'm saying?
really
Yeah.
liberating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get there by snapping your fingers. I'm gonna run there, Aaron. I'm gonna see you in a second. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
You know,
uh,
both valuable assets to have.
facts. What is the one food you could eat for every meal?
Pizza.
Pizza.
Pizza, 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 pizza. When I was a kid, I was the middle child. I was not asked what I wanted unless one of my parents wanted pizza. Because 100 out of 100 times when I got to make the call, it was
Pizza.
pizza. Like, no question asked. I can like blame it on my Italian heritage, but that is the one food, even going through like vegan and vegetarianism and all these different diets that I've experimented with out throughout life. Like pizza's got to be the mainstay, even if it's got to be like the gluten free, dairy free, all the things. Pizza is my jam. If I
It
go
don't
more than
matter.
14 days without pizza, something is wrong with me. I need someone to check in.
I love the
Fuck yeah.
honesty.
I love
We
that.
go to my mom's home cooked meal, and we do said pizza, Blaze,
Mm.
Papa. It don't matter. Bring
Ooh.
it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's something so like grounding about pizza. Like I really
Yes.
like you said Blaze and it made me think one of the last times I was back home, I went to a cigar bar with my buddy and I'm not like a big cigar guy. And man, we left and everyone had been smoking cigars and I was smoking one and I was like kind
Uh,
of had that like nicotine, like, oh boy. And we stopped and got
Mhm.
Blaze and I was just like, oh,
yes.
like,
Remember those days, like brothers. You know
oh
what I'm
yeah, oh
saying?
yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Um, Ooh, this is one where we've touched on maybe some of these, but what do you have any hidden talents that like would say like not many people know about you? What's a hidden talent you have?
Hmm.
Uh, I used to be very musically inclined, and it's a skill I'm slowly building up again.
Mm,
So, yeah, the steel hand pan and Native American flute are slow
Oh
processes, but I was the
damn.
second chair trumpet player back in band, even though I never practiced. I was like the worst student ever in that frame. It was either choir,
Whew.
um, violin, or band. And my
Band.
grandfather's trumpet was sitting in there like it was beautiful and silver and had like this rose detail. So like all the decisions were made for me.
mm,
And yeah, the guy that was first chair was like a genius, went to MIT.
mm,
So
Damn.
I had a decent natural tune, and now like I'm rediscovering rhythm in my body, and music is the natural
mm.
progression there, and have the instruments. Now it's continuing to carve out the time to be ready to share that gift with the world again sometime soon.
I'm gonna ask you again,
Beautiful.
bro. I'm like, what you
Mm.
been working out here? And last and final question of the popcorn round is, what is one piece of advice you could give your younger self?
Mm. In the here, in the now, I am safe. I am free.
Ooh. In the here, in the now, I am here
I
and
am
I'm free.
safe
I am
and I am
safe
free.
and I am free.
Mm.
That's beautiful. Well, this kind of comes to the closeout to our pod. This is something that I always say. Um, if you consume it and it comes from source, it is only going back to source. And I'm sure you feel that. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Till next time, my friends. This is why that now the pod is done as far as editing purposes. We can just fuck around and say goodbye and chat for a
Mm.
second if you want. But that was such a
Oh
fucking
yeah.
sick pod, bro. I
Oh, yeah.
appreciate you, bro. That was fire, bro. I can't
Yeah.
wait
I
to
had a
edit it.
lot of fun. And
Yeah.
you boys, like you can talk about idiosyncrasies, but you both did great. And again, like I had no fucking clue how I was gonna react.
Mm.
I'm glad it wasn't like Rigby there. Um, but yeah, like after settling in the first couple of minutes, like I really was just enjoying myself, and the only challenge was, yeah, trying to not be too honest.
No, bro, dude, you did
Yeah.
exactly what we needed, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly what we needed.
Yeah.
Because like, we want to give this space, because we talk damn near every day, right? But like people like you who do some cool shit and just think differently, and then comment you know what I'm saying? To give them a platform to just be themselves, bro, and just chat, talk your shit, bro. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And you did, and you gotta come back, bro. You have to come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
open to that. And what's your timeline, Mac? When are we getting to get you back here?
I'm gonna be
Ooh.
there. So okay, question. This is perfect. Okay,
Mm.
so Zach, you and Sophie are planning on having your alone time after the wedding, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think well, like if people are around, we'll hang out with them. But I think we wanted to just have space. Like we were gonna have space to like come home and be able to
Right.
decompress after hosting and stuff for sure. Yeah, yeah.
So, and what are you doing the few days prior to the wedding? Because
That's
I'm
months out, so I'm unless I already have a trip planned, I need to look at the calendar. So
Yeah.
when is your wedding, Zach? September
13th.
6th?
13th.
1 week off.
Mm.
Yeah, I will be in town and have
We could do
some
like
degree
a
of availability on like a Wednesday
yeah.
or Thursday.
Okay,
Mm.
we could do a little. We could do a little session, but I'm looking to come to that spot a few days early and then stay a few days later as well too, and just kind of. And I didn't really get to see Colorado because it was snowing and rainy.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and get to meet more people like you and see your friend group, see what's out there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we got ApeCo that we can share. We can take a trip to Archipelago, the social club, see if they have any fun like gong baths or anything else trippy going on that could be a fun
Ooh.
experience to share.
I'm with it.
Um, there's also a place called Boondocks I just discovered, and boy, do we need to get out there. We've got like Mario Kart type of kart
Ah,
racing that's like in person,
Oh.
arcade stuff, and like mini golf. It's just like a whole
yeah.
vibe of stuff where like if you want to drink, cool. If you want to be sober and just let that inner child out and have a fucking ball, that's cool too.
And it's called
Oh, that,
Boondocks out of all the things too. That's fire. I'm
that
there.
does look like
Uh-huh.
a party.
I'm there. What are you talking about,
That
bro?
looks fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing
Yeah,
about me,
that's
Aaron, I'm open to do any fucking thing, bro.
yeah.
Trust. Yeah, I'm an open book. As long as it doesn't involve um pickles and mustard and just like dumb
So
shit.
specific.
You know what I'm saying? I'm with it, bro. You know, I'm cool.
As
I'm
long as
cool.
there's no pickles or mustard, Max, there.
That's how I roll,
All
and
right, no
olives.
pickles or mustard. Hey, we've all got our stuff,
You
now
know what I'm
back out dating
saying?
again. No
I'm
kids, no
simple.
STIs. Everything
Right?
else is negotiable.
You feel me? I take everything else the grain of salt, but them three, I'm good.
That's
All right. Well,
beautiful.
I think
Yep.
we can navigate our way around pickles and mustard and get something
Yeah.
going. But yeah, once you know your dates, just let me know so I can try and create some time and see what events are going on and what would make sense to try
Yeah.
and dive in or have opportunities to check out.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I definitely would love to spend some time with the two of y'all, and I'll have I'll have some stuff going on, but we'll definitely make some time and we'll figure it out. And I definitely foresee maybe depending on how long you say, Mac, maybe a couple of days after the wedding, Sophie might be ready to like have some
th-
time and take a breath and be like, all right, Zach, like you're getting hyper, please go hang out with your friends.
Nah, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm probably gonna stay a
um,
few days after the wedding. That just
yeah,
makes more
yeah,
sense. Yeah.
that'd be
But
beautiful. Yeah,
I gotta go murder these people in volleyball. They're waiting for me.
Hey man,
Uh,
slay, do the thing.
yo, beautiful. Well, thank you, Aaron. We
And
appreciate your time. That was a really
seriously,
fun
bro.
convo, man.
Did
heck
we
yeah.
go over your time? Like, did we take too much of your time today?
Oh, you're good. Like I had no idea how this was gonna go, so if I do anything, it's gonna be ecstatic dance in an hour here.
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Boom. All
Beautiful.
right. Love you guys.
All right.
All right,
Can't wait to chat
fellas.
soon. Hey, before we leave,
Heck
hold on,
yeah.
hold on.
Oh,
We gotta take a picture for the gram.
oh, we do gotta take a picture.
Yeah.
You got it, Mackie, or you want me to?
You got it. Go.
Okay,
Do whatever pose you want, Aaron. Yeah, well, fuck.
okay. What's up, brother? I love it.
Let's go.
The
All right,
Mudra,
fellas.
the
Yeah,
Jesus
yeah.
Mudra, since he came up today.
Is that what it is? I love it. I
That's
love it.
so funny.
All right,
All
fellas. Have a
right,
good evening. I'll see
all
y'all.
right,
Have
see
a
you
good night,
guys.
guys.
See ya.
Later.